matchups. Doug, interesting, they're putting a guard on Grant Hill.
Well, they feel like Anthony Bowie can match up with Grant with some quickness and some size and hope to be able to cut down his isolations. Brian Shaw, late starter for Thompson, so he was matched up against Dumars and Royal and Houston, so that'll be the battle of the perimeter, and then you're going to see about 5 guys guarding Shaq inside tonight.
Well, we've got a great sideline runner tonight, and Warren Moon. And Warren, I tell you what, injuries the key tonight for Orlando.
Yeah, Orlando really comes in here a very injury-riddled basketball team. They'll dress only 9 players tonight, as just moments ago, Tree Rawlings, the backup center, was put on the injured list. Out of those 9 players, only 7 of those players are at 100%, as Jeff Turner is suffering from a virus he got from his daughter and has been sick all day, but he will play. And Brian Shaw, their backup point guard, will try and play tonight with an injured groin. He'll be only about 80%, but he'll start tonight. Back at home is Anthony Hardaway, who has a swollen esophagus, and they're trying to get food down his throat so he can gain the weight that he's lost. He's lost about 12 pounds. And Nick Anderson, their other starting guard, had a concussion the other night. So this is a very injured basketball team tonight. This is a very important game for the Magic, but they have to go out and suck it up somehow.
All right, Warren, we'll be checking back with you throughout the game. Glad to have you part of our TNT ball club tonight. Horace Grant, the first shot. Doug, as you expected, Horace going to be involved in the offense. And here is young Allen Houston, the second-year pro out of Tennessee, a first-round pick back in '93, 11th overall. Joe Dumars, the veteran, now running the point for Detroit. He said he likes it because he doesn't have to run those ticks down below and get beat up. Houston will pull the trigger from 3, doesn't get it. Of course, the head coach for the Orlando Magic is Brian Hill, the 9th fastest to reach the 100-win plateau in NBA history. And a former first-round pick for the Boston Celtics, head coach of the Detroit Pistons, Don Chaney. In a tenuous situation here in Detroit. So many rumors surrounding his future. Shaq tries a no-looker to Horace Grant, slashing in from the right side. Couldn't get it to him.
Now, Ron, strategy-wise for Detroit tonight, when Shaq gets the ball in the block, if he shoots a fadeaway jump shot, they do not want to have to foul him. But if he gets it in the lane, that's when they will take his foul. And they got about 30 up at the waist on him with 5 different centers they can put in the game.
Well, the centers for Detroit had 15 fouls. The alley-oop doesn't work. 15 fouls Wednesday night among the 3. Each one has 5. Dumars to look inside to Mark West.
What we talked about, the strategy of the Pistons. Look to push the ball up the floor. They feel like the Magic have a couple weaknesses. It's transition defense and their free throw shooting.
That was about Mark West's range. Shaq showing that turnaround as he moves toward the baseline. His first 2. Shaq averaging 29.6 this year. Tops in the NBA. What a leap by Horace Grant right over Mark West. Talk about Joe Dumars' passing ability, his highest assist total of his career this year.
Well, Dumars gets into the lane area, and he finds Mark West for the easy dunk. Mark West just beat Shaquille O'Neal down the floor in the first possession of the game. We'll have to keep our eye on that matchup because Mark West runs pretty well if he picks his spot.
Foul was on Anthony Bowie, his first team foul. Dumars and Hill, the top 2 assist men for the Pistons.
Well, Houston's come out a little bit cold. He's missed his first 3 shots.
Well, Anthony Bowie's on him. Interesting strategy by Brian Hill. They really want to make Houston put the ball on the floor. They think he's a better catch-and-shoot jumper. He really doesn't create as much.
You can also see what Detroit is doing, Ron. They're trapping that first pass. So as Brian Shaw is coming down the floor and hitting the wing, either to Anthony Bowie or to Donald Royal, the trap is coming, and they're leaving Brian Shaw open. Let's see if they can get the ball back to him, and maybe he can create some opportunities. But right now, they are not respecting him offensively.
Grant inside had position on Hill. Knocked out, 16 to shoot for the Orlando Magic. I think Brian Hill has to be wondering how many minutes can he get out of Brian Shaw. We had the game a week ago where he strained the groin, and Brian told me before the game he wasn't sure how much he could go. He's very stiff.
I think probably what happened is he warmed up out here rather than to sit down and maybe stiffen up some more, let him go out there and play some minutes, see how it's going to be.
Royal tries to go baseline, blocking foul. That will be on Grant Hill, his first personal.
Grant Hill trying to get out of the way of Donald Royal. Donald Royal loves to drive the ball to the basket with that good, quick first step. Grant tried to get away from him, and Donald Royal just kept boring into his body until he got the foul.
We played 2 minutes at the Palace of Auburn Hills. Fresh 24 to shoot for the Magic. And they lead at 4-2. Ron Boone, Doug Collins, Warren Moon, Ernie Johnson, and Shaquille.
Well, when you get that kind of position, there's nothing you can do. Shaquille just overpowering Mark West on the inside. Joe
Dumars in his 10th year out of McNeese State. Had a season-high 41 versus Orlando on Wednesday night, including 7 3-pointers, 5 in a 5-minute stretch in the fourth quarter. Grant battling Hill for the rebound. Here comes Shaw. Fans wanted to travel. I don't think he moved a foot. The double by Dumars on Shaq leaves Royal open. They turn it over. One thing Brian Hill wanted to do is keep the turnovers down. They only had 7 the other night. Last touch by Mills. The Magic have the basketball. 9:02 in the first. They lead at 4-2. Slow starting game. Shaq sets a pick up high. Shaw for 3. Hill with his first rebound. Nice move. Grant Hill.
Just spectacular play by Grant Hill. Beautiful behind the back dribble. Change of pace. Gets into the lane.
That got the crowd awake a little bit. Shaw backing in on Dumars. Royal for 2.
That's the shot you want to make him take. You see Grant Hill as he rotated out defensively. He realized that Royal really does not want to shoot the jumper. He wants to drive. Gave him a lot of space.
Houston lets it fly from 3. Doesn't get it. So he's 0 for 3 so far this evening. Shaq almost with a careless pass to Brian Shaw. Bowie won't go. Grant on the tip won't find the net. Here comes Houston to Hill. It's a 2-on-1 if they hurry. Dumars rejected by Shaw. Ron Gerritsen says we have a foul.
Well, I thought that Joe Dumars could have given that ball back to Grant Hill. They had a beautiful 2-on-1 fast break. Grant gives it up to him, and look, Shaw goes over, and he could have dropped it right back, but he goes right to the basket and gets a foul. So Dumars will be shooting 2 free throws when we get back.
Timeout. We're tied up at 4. Games, and when you're fighting for a playoff spot, Doug, you don't want indecision and some question. But now Detroit is in a quandary as we head to the final 3 weeks of the season.
Ron, they really are. You know, they're in a playoff battle, but I don't think people realize that if the Pistons move up from the 8th pick where they are right now, their pick would go to San Antonio in the deal for Sean Elliott. So they need to stay 8 or better. They lose that pick to San Antonio. That could be a very, very devastating blow to their franchise to lose a young player. They've got a couple nice pieces on the perimeter right now with Allen Houston and the greatness of Grant Hill, but they need a bigger body inside that can rebound, and the only way they can get that, I think, probably is in the draft.
But do you go with the theory that you don't want to think about that? You want to make the playoffs because Red Auerbach said losing breeds only one thing, and that's losing.
That's true. You've got to try to win basketball games. In no way do I want to make it look like you want to tank a game so you get a pick. But for the Pistons, the best of all worlds needs them to play great.
Right.
And to be able to do the, if that's a foul on Grant Hill, I think that'll be his 2nd foul. I'm going to call it on Mark West.
Mark West. Vintage Donald Royal, though, the quick step to the hole, goes in strongly, and Mark West holding the right shoulder.
Again, there's Donald Royal going to the basket. You know that this is one of the guys that leads the league in free throw attempts per minute played. He's always been able to do that. And for whatever reason, guys want to run at him and let him put the ball on the floor. You've got to make this guy make some jump shots.
Well, 75% from the line. Quite a career for this young man, the 5th-year pro out of Notre Dame. Originally a 3rd-round pick back in '87 by the Cleveland Cavaliers. Spent some time in the CBA, Minnesota. Even went to Israel. But the hard work paid off this year when he was rewarded with a new contract by the Mavericks back in November. By the Magic, I should say. Hill trying to post up now on Donald Royal as Anthony Hardaway or Anthony Bowie switches over to Allen Houston.
You can see anytime Grant Hill posts, they immediately send Horace Grant down to him to force him to give the ball up. There's a tough shot by Allen Houston. So after missing his first 4 shots, he now hits his 5th one, so he's 1 for 5.
What did I say about making him put the ball on the floor, Doug, and he can't shoot?
He's got much better at that.
Shaw can't come up with a loose ball. Detroit has the basketball, and they lead at 7-5, 7:09 remaining in the first quarter. Brian Hill wanted a low-scoring first quarter. Didn't want to give up the big points like he did Wednesday night. I think he gave up something like 39. I don't think he wanted it this one.
Well, he wanted low-scoring for the Pistons. He wanted to have more than 5. Look at that.
Grant Hill again.
See, Grant is doing a terrific job on that screen roll. That time he split it, and at 6'9", So you see your point guard, Grant Hill at 6'9", splits the double team and gets all the way to the hoop.
Shaq was going for the alley-oop, but getting underneath him was Terry Mills. Shaq could not get possession of the basketball, but here is vintage Grant Hill. Well, we're not going to be able to see it now, but don't worry, he'll probably do it again. Hill now, Grant switches over. Hill lets it fly from just inside of three.
That's the one area Grant really is going to work this summer. Got to get a little bit more range on his jump shot. He's only attempted 21 three-point shots on the season.
Joe Dumars just picked the pocket of Brian Shaw. Houston to the hole with the big two steps.
Well, you can see the improvement in Allen Houston. Now with he and Grant Hill on the perimeter, Allen Houston's about 6'7". Grant Hill at 6'9", so you've got two players there that can both switch between the 2 and 3 spots. So you have great versatility now if you're the Pistons with young players there.
A 9-1 run. Shaquille is fouled as the Pistons have opened up a 6-point advantage.
Well, you can see what the strategy is again, Rod. When you see Shaquille get the ball in the paint, they're going to foul him. They're going to put him on the free throw line. They've got 6 fouls with West. They have 6 fouls with Terry Mills. You come off the bench with Lechner. They have Ivano Newbill. And I know they got one other big guy, Oliver Miller. So they've got 30 fouls they can give if they have to tonight. Shaquille was only 10 for 22 from the free throw line in the game on Wednesday night.
Watch Joe Dumars. Talk about quick hands for Joe Dumars.
Well, Joe, again, they're trapping that first pass, and that's the first time really that they got to steal, although they have disrupted the Magic's offense here in this first quarter.
Shaquille missed them both. It's going to be a blocking foul on Brian Shaw. He gets up gingerly. That'll be Shaw's second personal foul.
Well, Joe Dumars, as he tried to make that little crossover move, banged knees with Brian Shaw. I think he got the worst of that. Looks like he's holding his knee or right above his knee area and that thigh. You get a knee to your thigh, that's a devastating injury.
All it takes is one more bang and it still hurts. Bowie bellying up to Hill, who turns away from him, misses everything. Shaq with the loose ball over to Brian Shaw.
Just the presence of Shaquille forced Grant to change that shot.
Royal to the hole, the big step, rolls it around, and Donald Royal with his third point of the ball game.
See, Donald Royal and Anthony Bowie, two energizers. It was a beautiful crossover by Grant Hill once again.
Houston spots up for the three off the iron. They'll try it again with the left hand.
Boy, Allen Houston, that's 3 for 8 now. He was getting some shots up here in the first quarter.
Oh, Shaquille O'Neal with Mark West cutting the Brooklyn Bridge from underneath him. What a play, though, for Shaquille, Doug, just to make the catch on that.
Well, Allen Houston, watch him take the ball to the basket here with his left hand. He takes it around Shaquille O'Neal, but Shaquille does not stay back. He runs out, and he's the first big man down the floor, so he did not celebrate in any way. Got himself back after getting scored on defensively. Gets a beautiful alley-oop in the slam dunk.
That foul was on Mark West, by the way.
See, Mark West trying to catch up, and Shaquille O'Neal just outruns him down the floor.
Shaquille makes the free throw. So Shaquille now 1 of 3 from the line. He has 7 points in the ball game as Brooks Thompson is checked in for the Orlando Magic as they've cut that 6-point lead down to 3. Thompson, number 22, the rookie out of Oklahoma State.
You know, Brooks Thompson had a good ball game the other night, Ron, in Los Angeles. Although the Magic lost, he had 20 points. He came home and was feeling good about himself, and Joe Dumars hit him for 41. So a little quiet in the locker room after the game of the night for Brooks Thompson.
Talking to him about it tonight, and he said, oh, Shaquille O'Neal again. He said, what can I have done? He goes, Joe just looked at me and said, I'm hot. Understatement, Joe.
Well, Oliver Miller's got to get his big body on Shaquille O'Neal, keep him away from the rim. That's 2 slam dunks we've seen from Shaquille the last 2 possessions.
Miller, the third-year pro out of Arkansas. Oh, with the rebound. Has it slapped away. Oliver Miller looks enormous. Of course, he had his weight problems, which pretty much led him out of Phoenix, where he was a draft pick. Very talented young man and a very nice young man. Just has trouble keeping the weight down.
A careless pass by Horace Grant out of the double team.
Nice pass. Back to Miller. Reward the big man for running the court.
Very unselfish play by Grant Hill. Grant could have challenged the defender and took the ball to the basket and probably got the foul, maybe a three-point play. But he made the simple pass over to Oliver Miller, and as you said, Ron, rewarded the big guy for running the floor.
Who would want to take a charge on that? Grant, the mismatch. Dumars gets a little help from Hill. Bowie lets it fly and buries the two-pointer.
You can see Grant Hill is the double teamer, so coming out of that double team, Grant is going to have to try to rotate out to the shooter. That time he just couldn't quite get there, but they're trying to take the ball out of the big man's hands around the basket for Orlando, force him to make some jump shots.
Dumars quickly posting up on Thompson, what they did the other night, and Thompson's going to be whistled for the foul.
There's the steal by Oliver Miller. He gives the ball up, continues to run the floor, and Grant Hill, the unselfish play, draws Anthony Bowie to him, and Oliver Miller gets the dunk. So that's a picture-perfect 2-on-1 fast break.
Houston buries the three. Allen Houston is 125th three-pointer, and that sets a new Detroit Piston mark for three-pointers made in a season, breaking the old record set by Joe Dumars last year.
Well, I like the fact that Allen Houston missed his first 4 shots, Ron, and didn't shy away from it, kept shooting, and now he's 4 for 9.
Miller again running the court, and he is fouled on the play. And that'll be a timeout. 2:40 left in the first quarter. The Pistons lead at 5-4, and we'll be back.
This program is authorized under broadcasting rights granted by the National Basketball Association. Any publication, reproduction, or other use of pictures, descriptions, or accounts of this game without the express written consent of the National Basketball Association is prohibited.
18-14 our score. The Pistons lead it by 4.
We'll talk about strategy of the Orlando Magic defensively. Ball goes in the post. Here comes Shaquille O'Neal with the double team. When that occurs, you must rotate the ball out of the double team, and you find, we'll stop it right now. Here's Oliver Miller. Horace Grant can rotate to him, and Dennis Scott can stay home here. Dennis Scott comes up on Oliver Miller, and he frees Allen Houston for the wide-open three-point shot. That's where you have to recognize defensively who you're rotating to. Oliver Miller's not going to shoot it. Horace Grant could recover and not give Allen Houston his 125 three-point field goal of the season.
Not bad for a guy who really didn't tear up the league last year, struggled at times. Worked in the offseason, built up a little bit of weight. Miller gets them both. And for a very big guy, he's got a wonderful touch from the line.
That's a guy who can really tease you just enough to where you get you really excited, and then he lets you down. He could be a real major key to this Piston team, but had he been consistent, he'd still be a team.
Suns wanted him about 270. They would have settled probably for 280. He is probably hovering around the big 3-0-0 right now. Thompson's three over the top of the backboard. Pistons have the ball, leading by 6 with 2:18 left in the first. Detroit 7-5 at home since the All-Star break. But in the past 12 games, they have had a lot of problems defensively. Opponents have scored just about 114 a game, as opposed to 104, which is their regular season average.
Dumars in the post, going to go isolation against Brooks Thompson. They've called an illegal defense.
That is Scott checking into the ball game, and I think he is the victim. Scott, the fifth-year pro of Georgia Tech. Brian Hill wants an explanation. So does Dennis Scott. Get it. So the Magic have Grant, Scott, Bowie, Thompson, and Shaquille. Dumars, Miller, Hill, Houston, and Mills for the Pistons. The double, the triple by the Magic. Houston spots up and buries his second three of the ball game. The biggest lead for Detroit.
The thing that really impressed me about Allen Houston, he did not get down when he missed his first few shots. And here's a trap once again. Joe Dumars coming up against once again with a steal.
Bowie takes it back to Grant. It's 2-on-1. Thompson to Shaquille. Look out, Oliver. But Brooks Thompson got it in the eye. You see him on the top of your screen. Keep rubbing that eye as Shaquille goes down. Foul on Miller.
Right. It's going to be very interesting to me this year during the playoffs as we see Brooks Thompson again with the pass to Shaquille O'Neal and the foul. The frustration that's going to happen with Shaquille O'Neal, because you're going to see this so often come playoff time, especially when you have teams that have very deep front lines that can give away those fouls and force Shaquille to go to the free throw line. It's a very frustrating thing because they're taking away your power and forcing you to go to your weakness. We can see Shaquille's numbers, what he's done in this league and how he's dominated. But the one major weakness is still the free throw shooting. We know how important that is come playoff time. Horace Grant also a below 70% free throw shooter.
Guys that are going to have the ball in their hands come playoff time.
Around the basket, where
Right.
the fouls are committed.
Now, the last 10 games, Shaq's only shot 57% from the line. Then he shows the double on Dumars. Miller, great pass. Dumars to Miller. Joe Dumars, 5.4 assists a game. Brian Hill does not like what he sees, and he wants to talk about it, Doug. 1:15 left to play in the first quarter. A 10-0 run by Detroit has opened up an 11-point advantage.
This is Grant Hill, and watch what's happening now as they're bringing the ball up. Grant is coming over, and they're trapping. This is causing the Magic problems. Dumars twice has gotten steals, so they're trapping him and getting into the fast break. The Magic are going to have to keep the ball run away from the sideline. They're going to have to keep it in the middle of the floor. What they like to do is come down and enter the ball right in the post to Shaquille O'Neal. With the trapping, they're taking them right out of that. And then the beautiful play right before that was Dumars in the post. He gets double-teamed, and casually the behind-the-back flip to Oliver Miller, who gets the slam dunk. So Dumars handling the double-team nicely. Brooks Thompson coughing it up.
You see the assists and steals for Joe Dumars so far. Orlando has turned the ball over on 5 occasions. Detroit only 2 as the Pistons have put together that 10-0 run. But that can quickly diminish with Orlando as the first illegal defense is called against Detroit. Donald Royal will come back into the Magic lineup.
Ron, that's the real big difference between this year and last year with the illegal defense. Dumars would not have been illegal last year. He would have been able to get down below that free throw line for 2.9 seconds to get back out. This year, the minute you break that free throw line, you are illegal immediately. That's why the illegal defenses are up so much this season.
Thompson will be looking for his shot. Brian Hill says he can flat out shoot the basketball.
I think Brooke Thompson's going to be a very, very good player. He's a very confident kid. He's got a lot of, almost borders on cockiness a little bit, which is great for a player coming in and playing on a team like this. He feels so good about his game.
Bills from the outside, won't roll down. Royal comes up with a loose ball to Thompson. Just saying guarding Joe Dumars is tough because as a rookie you're not getting any calls anyway. Dennis Scott for 3, rips the nets.
Well, they need that from Dennis Scott because without Hardaway, without Nick Anderson, they really have lost their perimeter shooting. And Dennis Scott busted loose the other night for 30 points in the game. They won 128-125. So really the inside-out attack of Shaquille O'Neal and then Dennis Scott coming off the screen.
Scott has now hit 6 of his last 10 three-pointers as we hit the final 10 seconds of the first quarter. 8-point Detroit lead. With 6.5 on the game clock, 3 seconds to shoot on the shot clock for the Pistons. Houston wanted the ball to Mills, got it, and it's a 3. Mills, who has hit 95 three-pointers, closes out the first quarter scoring in style. We've played 12 in the 21,000 here like it because the Detroit Pistons lead it by 11. Second quarter coming up. Beautiful Palace of Auburn Hills, where after 1 quarter of play, the Pistons lead it by 11. He passes footballs, and he also passes information. Warren, what about that Orlando huddle?
Well, during that last timeout, Orlando Magic coach Brian Hill stressed to his team to be much more aggressive. He wants them to be much more aggressive off the dribble as far as taking the ball to the basket and also getting jump shots. And he thinks they need to pass the ball a little bit quicker against the double teams. Once the double team comes, he wants the passes quicker so they can get better shots. Back to you, Ron and Doug.
Thank you, Warren. Well, we'll see if Brian Hill's team is able to retain that information as they hit the 94-by-50 spot.
Ron, what you want to do is against a double team when you know it's coming. You got your dribble, and you don't pick it up. What you do is you pull your dribble back, you string out the double team, then you kick it over, and now you attack on that next pass. The problem is the guy at the top of the floor has been Horace Grant, and not a guy who's not going to really beat you off the dribble. So I think Orlando might have to move some guys around. So when they're passing out of that double team, they're passing to a guy who can create.
Well, Detroit shot 48%, Doug, in that first 12 minutes. Orlando just 35%. O'Neal with 9. Allen Houston led all scorers with 12 for the Pistons. Grant Hill, nothing but the bottom of the net. He has 6 in the ball game.
See, that's a shot that Grant's got to just gain confidence in because he can make that shot. They're double teaming and they're saying, Grant, prove it to us that you can hit that shot.
Brooks Thompson drills the 3. That hurt the back of the iron. Turnover. Here come the Magic. Trailing by 10. We've played about 45 seconds here in the second, in case you just joined us. Scott now posting up on Houston. This is where Don Chaney said Allen Houston has really improved his defensively.
And you know what? Dennis Scott has become a pretty good low post player. We've seen so much of his three-point shooting, but with that big body, sometimes you let him catch the ball down there. He's good now at backing himself down in there, and he can shoot a little running, little floating shot, or he's got a fading jump shot. So he's added that to his little repertoire around the basket.
We've always talked in years past that Dennis Scott very seldom went to the paint. He always settled for the jump shot. Very seldom went to the free throw line.
Well, he's only attempted 94 free throws this year.
For his career, it's about 2 times a game. Gets them both. Cuts the Detroit lead down to 8. We've played just about a minute of the second quarter. Royal now on Grant Hill.
Dumars wanting to post once again. Let's say we get the double team, the ball movement, and the open shot. This time Dumars goes quickly and gets the jumper over Brooks Thompson.
And the double was brought over by Horace Grant, Doug.
Well, they're going to come big. They're not going to come with a smaller player on Dumars. There's the trap once again. See, they're throwing back to Horace Grant, forcing him to use clock, and now their offense has been disrupted.
Only 13 on the shot clock, and Thompson turns it over to Hill. Abed, who's checked into the ball game, comes up with a loose rock. Thompson wasn't sure what to do with the basketball. It was a 3-on-2 situation.
I'll tell you what he should have done. He should have taken the dribble, pulled up at the free throw line, and pulled the jump shot. A little bit indecisive. He's had a couple turnovers. So Ryan Hill's going to take Brooks Thompson out of the game, let him calm himself down, and then come back in. But that's the trials and tribulations of a rookie in this league. It's, you know, one night it's good, the next night it's not so good, and you just have to continue to bounce back.
Second illegal defense called on the Pistons. Scott will shoot the technical. Scott will make the technical.
See Lindsey Hunter checking into the ball game now. Lindsey missed 40 games this year with a fractured 5th metatarsal. He had a screw put in his foot, and he's just now getting back into shape. He came up to me and asked me before the game how Chris was doing, my son, because Chris had the same surgery. I said, it takes you about 3 months. He said, I'm finding that out. They say 6 weeks, and then it takes you about another 8 weeks to get yourself back in shape.
That injury happened back on the 9th of December in a game versus the Chicago Bulls. He had surgery on the 9th of January.
Now, they almost waited a month for the surgery, and I think what happens with that, Ron, they found out now with that 5th metatarsal, when you break that now, they call it a Jones fracture, and if you go in and pin it or put a screw in it, your healing time is much less, and the incidence of re-injury is much less. So they went in that, and he's been doing pretty well, but still not to have his timing back.
He was penciled in as the starting point guard at the beginning of the year. Dumars has taken over that role now, but Lindsey said a lot of this is mental. Grant Hill bothered by Donald Royal. Magic have the basketball. Grant Hill wants a foul, not going to get it. His team, however, leads by 9.
You know, you were talking about Lindsey Hunter playing point guard. He really is not a point guard, Ron. I think they found that out. He's really a guy, I think, like Abdul Rauf out in Denver, where he's really a point guard body, but more of a 2 guard, and you really have to put him in the game for your offense.
Scott with the catch and shoot, but he adds a miss to it. Detroit has the basketball. Well, this Detroit Pistons team, started out the season 7-6, and there were some very unreal expectations delivered in the media here in the Detroit and surrounding area, and Don Chaney kept telling everybody, hey, we're in transition. Don't be talking playoffs and everything yet. And he has been under scrutiny because he started out so quickly. Hill's fouled on the play. Foul's going to be on Donald Royal. That'll be his first personal. Just a reminder, immediately following tonight's game inside the NBA with your host, Tim Brando. He'll be talking, or Grant Hill will be talking with Warren Moon. A look at the NBA's #1 celebrity fan, Spike Lee. Plus the call-in topic tonight is going to be, who is this year's Schick NBA Rookie of the Year? I got a feeling it might be that guy right there on the free throw line.
Well, I tell you, Grant has had a terrific year, and, you know, you talked about the expectations of this Piston teams, and a lot of it was centered on the fact that Grant Hill is such a great basketball player, and he can do so many things, but the Pistons have been woeful along the front line this year. The perimeter's been much better, but you win those big games in the paint area, that's where they really got to shore up this team. They've got to get a rebounder and a young athletic forward to play on that front line to compete against the Horace Grants of the world. Speaking of Horace Grant, the outside jump shot. And again, no one on the boards. Anthony Avent just standing right there point blank. And that's where they've gotten themselves in trouble, Ron. They're a very poor offensive rebound or defensive rebounding team. Speaking of the Pistons, they get out-rebounded over 5 rebounds a game.
And the Magic are doing this with Shaquille O'Neal on the sideline. He's set to check back into the lineup. Grant, Houston shoots over him, off to the left side. Miller had a shot at it. Grant Hill inside, uses the basket as almost a weapon and gets his 9th point of the ballgame.
Just quietly goes about his business. You know, Grant will do a few spectacular things we'll see tonight, but you look at the box score at the end, and he sort of fills it up with points, rebounds, assists, steals, and the leadership you need to be just a quality player. And that's what Grant's got written all over him in the next 10 or 11 years.
Scott takes Hill one-on-one, baseline move. Dennis Scott with his 5th point. Check that, his 8th point of the ballgame.
Dennis Scott's gone to the free throw line a couple times. He's put the ball on the floor, something that we have not seen much of on the course of the season.
Last 2 weeks, Doug, I've had Orlando games. I've noticed Dennis Scott showing up about 2.5 hours before the game, and he and assistant coach Tom Strutter, all they do is shoot. He catches and shoot, and he runs a lot. Very active warming up, and it's showing right now, and assuming his new role on the bench, which he likes.
There's a dribble penetration again. This time he finds Anthony Avent.
But it helps create something.
Absolutely. You know, he's with the guy that was always being created for. Now he's doing some things because you so respect his outside shot that you're going to chase at him. And that makes you one step quicker when a guy's running at you to be able to put the ball on the floor and go around him. And that's what Dennis Scott's been able to do this year.
Well, the Magic on a 10-7 run, we should say, against Detroit while Shaq sat on the bench is Raphael Addison, number 7, the 4th-year pro out of Syracuse, has checked into the ball game, as has Eric Lechner, number 45. He's playing in his 5th season out of Wyoming. This is Addison. Gives it up to Allen Houston.
Allen Houston will actually be the point guard now of this team on the floor. Lindsey Hunter and Raphael Addison will run off baseline screens.
Addison, a 2nd-round pick by Phoenix back in '86.
Trying to post up this time Addison on Brian Shaw.
Avent tries to give him a little help. No basket, says referee Steve Javy. Foul's going to be on double zero, Anthony Avent. His first. Is this game going slow, or is it just me?
No, it is going slow. There's really no rhythm into the game. Raphael Addison posting up. I thought he should have been given continuation there with a 3-point play. The ball never once again went to the floor after he picked it up.
Lechner on the pick and roll. It wasn't pretty, but it counts.
Tell me Eric Lechner does not look like Bill Laimbeer. If you put a number 40 on him, I mean, that is Bill Laimbeer, I'm telling you.
I see Bill in his seats. He must be up in his luxury box behind us. Whistle and a foul. Houston picks up the foul. That is Allen Houston's second team foul, and Lechner pleading to the referee Ron Gerritsen about something, and Don Chaney wants to talk about it. 7:06 left in the half, and the Piston lead remains at 10.
Sonic, Tuesday at 9 on TNT.
We are flesh and we are blood, and we are bound together, for better or worse, in sickness and in health, through thick and through thin, in good times and in bad, until death or the World Championship title do us part. We are flesh and we are blood, and we are bound together, for better or worse, in sickness and in health, through thick and through thin, in good times and in bad, until death or the World Championship title do us part.
Windstar. Family. Safety. The future of minivans is available today at Scarsdale Ford. Windstar. Longer, wider, providing more interior cargo space. The smoothest riding minivan in its class. Windstar. Safety. Dual airbags, 4-wheel anti-lock brakes, crush zones, and side door intrusion beams. Now Scarsdale Ford has the Windstar GL for just $149 a month on a 24-month lease. Scarsdale Ford, Central Avenue and Ardsley Road, Scarsdale.
Dizzy Dean says, get set to get wet. We're ready to bring summer fun to your backyard. Enjoy huge savings on our large assortment of swimming pools, filters, and accessories. Stop by our patio department and see our complete line of patio furniture and Duquesne gas grills. Family owned and operated for over 20 years, our factory authorized and trained technicians will solve all your pool needs. April is chemical sale month at Dizzy Dean's, so shop for your pool now.
Pistons lead it by 10, 7:06 remaining in the second quarter. Well, the NBA on TNT will continue Tuesday night, 9 o'clock. Get the time, 9 o'clock Eastern time, and the Phoenix Suns take on the Seattle Supersonics. Bob Neal will join Doug Collins out for the game. Once again, a special time, 9 o'clock Eastern time. Then on TBS, our sister station on Thursday, more NBA action as the Golden State Warriors take on the Utah Jazz, a very impressive ball club. Vern Lundquist, Chuck Daly will have the action for you. That's 8 o'clock Thursday, 9 o'clock on Tuesday on TBS and on TNT. Speaking of Bill Laimbeer, there he is. And he does look a little like Eric Lechner. Lechner's got to get a better hairstyle, though. Bad do by Eric, but we'll fix it. Shaw, Scott, Avent, Shaq, and Bowie for the Orlando Magic.
Post up once again for Dennis Scott.
Saw the points in the paint, all Pistons so far. Avent not known for his offense. Lechner not known for his blocks. Only his 13th rejection of the year.
Nice defense here by Eric Lechner, though, Ron. He spins him out on the baseline, gets up, gets a piece of the shot. That was a nice play.
He's a big body. Scott fakes right, shoots left, doesn't get it. Here comes Hunter.
You see Lindsey's indecision. He's not sure whether to make the play or take his shot, and that's the area that he's really got to work on. I coached him in the rookie game 2 years ago, and I talked to him about that. And still, with his injury, has not really had a chance to expand that part of his game.
And I think that's what happened in the meeting between these two teams Wednesday night. That the Orlando Magic had the lead, but Detroit had the basketball in the closing seconds, and Lindsey was very indecisive out front.
Well, you know, when he played in college, he took the ball and he created shots for himself, and right now he's learning when to take that shot and when to make that pass.
Foul was on Shaq. That's his first. This is Allen Houston. 86% from the free throw line for Allen Houston this year. Has hit 31 of his last 32, make it 32 of 33. 14 points for Allen Houston. As Doug mentioned, the last 14 games, he has been on fire. He's averaged 20 points a game since the All-Star break.
How many teams say that two of their players give them 48% of their offense?
Right.
It's either bad offense by the Pistons at about 98 points a game, or great offense by Allen Houston and Grant Hill.
Foul was on Lechner. Joe Dumars comes back in. Houston's going to take a breather. Here's what they're missing tonight, the Orlando Magic and Brian Hill. A lot of points.
And leadership. And, you know, with Penny Hardaway out there, you know, he gives you such a different look.
Lechner really wrestling with Shaquille and O'Neal underneath. Shaq not afraid to bump bellies with him, and Lechner already whistled for his second personal foul.
The longer the bumping went on, you knew Eric Lechner was going to get caught. It was just a matter of time. They bumped here for about 5 seconds. Here it starts right here. There's the grab and the push and the banging, and it just keeps going. And finally, one leg up between Shaq's legs, an arm in the back, and finally the foul. Now this time he fronts in the post, and they lob over and get a dunk. Shaq's got to be very careful. He doesn't want to get a taunting foul.
Yeah, he said something to Lechner. Eric Lechner at 6'11", 265 pounds.
And Shaq moved him out of there like he weighed about 210.
No. Right now, the Magic on pace to score a whopping 72 points in the ballgame. The number one scoring team in the NBA is Lindsey Hunter. Hits the 2. Scott keeps it alive. Still a lot of time. 15 to shoot for the Magic. Once again, Shaq posting up to turn around with the right hand. Lechner is not afraid to throw the weight around. Mills had position on everybody underneath. Can't get the shot to go, but we have a traveling call. Now we talk about the Shaq-Lechner battle. Let's listen in. Ouch. That hurts.
Well, that's why you can't front Shaq in the post unless you're going to get tremendous ball pressure, because it's going to be an easy dunk. You got to lay behind him and force him to make some shots.
Shaquille O'Neal inside after 9 first-quarter points. O'Neal now with 13 in the ball game. He is 6 of 9 from the floor.
You know, Ron, the thing that impressed me about Shaq, among other things, you know, this guy plays hard every night.
Yes.
He comes to play. He works hard. He gives you a day's work for a day's pay. There's a lot of guys in the league that take a lot of lessons from Shaquille O'Neal about that.
Gibby made an excellent point last Friday night against the Jazz. Hunter shot a little short. Said he has not seen Shaq so active as he has the past couple of weeks. Showing a lot of different looks now. Like that little jump hook from both the right and the left block. Here's the spin move. And the reverse, and it counts. And that is a 300-pound giant moving underneath.
Yeah, everybody says all Shaq does is dunk, but we've seen him dunk, we've seen him spin on the baseline. Tell me how quick this is for a guy 7 feet, 315 pounds. And then the concentration to be able to finish the shot. Watch this quick roll off. He feels the arm bar in the back, rolls around, finishes the shot, and now the three-point play opportunity. And Shaquille O'Neal leading the scoring race this year. You can see last season he was second, and he got beat on the last day of the season by David Robinson, who scored 71 points against the Clippers. This year, Shaquille leading the way.
Shaq misses the free throw, only 1 of 6 this evening, as he has scored the last 6 Orlando points. But we have a whistle, says Ron Garrettson, and a foul underneath. It is going to be on Rafael Addison, his first personal. And at the line, it's going to be Anthony Avin. Avin, another one of the atrocious free throw shooters for the Magic. 64%, the Magic 27th in free throw shooting this year. Avin, the third-year pro out of Seton Hall. The Atlanta Hawks originally drafted him. Went to Italy for a year, played a couple of years in Milwaukee. Came over to the Magic last January to trade for Anthony Cook.
They were hoping that he was going to give them the answer at that power forward position that they did not have last year. Found out that he could be a pretty good backup player, but not the guy you want out there 35 minutes a night. That's when they went after Horace Grant.
They've been playing a lot of backup 5 to Shaquille O'Neal, depending on who's in the lineup at the time.
Well, if you look at Orlando's team, you know, one of the areas that you'd be a little concerned in the playoff race also, too, Ron, is their lack of depth on the front line in terms of just big bodies. If you look out there with Tree Rollins being injured tonight and not being able to play, you've got Shaq, and then you got Anthony Avin, and you look at the bench, and they don't really have another big body.
Right.
Jeff Turner is really more of a perimeter player. You've got Brooks Thompson. You've got Donald Royal. You have Anthony Bowie, so not a lot of big bodies come playoff time.
Bowie back into the lineup. Avin's going to take a seat. Joe Dumars at the line. 3 points this evening, 1 of 2 from the stripe. Make it 2 of 3. Dumars, the 5-time All-Stars. Detroit's fourth all-time leading scorer in their history.
Ronnie's one of the classiest guys ever play in this game. I so very fortunate. Last year he came to speak at my basketball camp to the kids, and he was an unbelievable hit. Just what he brought to the young people, his wisdom, his approach to the game. I was very, very blessed that he would come and do that.
Brian Shaw drains the 3. Shaw, who has been struggling from the arc as of late, puts that one down. Last 8 games, only 16% from 22 feet.
Grant, a little isolation, a little 1-4. See if they run at him and double team him. See if they try to push him to Grant for the double team. Here it is. They want him to give the ball up, but Grant just goes right around him and finds Lindsey Hunter for the spot up 3. So the Magic did everything right there, except they let Grant Hill get to the outside of the floor. They wanted to push him back to the double team, and Grant was just too quick for Dennis Scott.
You know what impresses me there is patience. He had patience. Shaq double teamed by West and Dumars. Ron Garrettson said we're not going to have any of that tonight. And Mark West is whistled for the infraction. That is his 3rd personal foul. So Lechner with 3, West with 3. Oliver Miller, the only big body not in foul trouble. He only has 1, but this is going to form as it was Wednesday night in Orlando. Now Don Chaney has to go with Oliver Miller.
Vinnie Johnson, one of the great players on the Pistons World Championship team, will be well known for that jump shot in Portland that he hit to win the 2nd championship, a little bit like John Paxson hit the 3 against Phoenix to win the 3rd championship. So guys, sometimes one shot lives forever, and for those 2 guys, that was a shot they'll always remember in both of the cities.
I got a funny feeling they'll have a few more jerseys up there in the near future. Maybe a guy named Isaiah Thomas, Joe Dumars, when he decides to finally call it quits.
And if Grant Hill stays healthy for the next 10 years, you'll see his jersey up there also.
And in Springfield. Dumars now being guarded by Grant. Joe looks over to see who's mismatched, but he just takes it strongly to the hole. Hill takes it away from Bowie. Heads up defensive effort. Dumars for 3. 6-point Detroit lead, 2:50 left to play in the half, and we have a timeout. Orlando struggling here in the first half at the Palace. Still a lot of basketball left.
The NBA on TNT is brought to you by Nike and by 100% Cotton Dockers.
Would you look at that? Good with an iron. Plays right to left. It's on your mind, it's on our cans. The Michelob Golfers 18-pack.
Cotton wrinkle-free Dockers. Pants so soft, they shrug off wrinkles.
When the ball goes up, you have a choice. You can watch or you can rebound. Understand that the ball won't come to you. You got to go get it. You got to want it more than anyone else on the court. It takes heart. It takes sacrifice. It takes the willingness to do whatever your team needs, because you cannot win without the ball.
Pistons lead by 6, 2:50 remaining in the second. In just a couple of days, only Magic Johnson's Round Ball Classic here in the Palace, featuring some of the great high school players in the country. Warren Moon is with the host of that game, but it's not Magic, it's Mark Curry.
I'm here with hanging with Mr. Cooper star Mark Curry. Mark, what brings you to Detroit and what brings you to this game tonight?
Well, Warren, I'm here. Check out the Detroit Pistons play, one of my favorite teams, and also for the Round Ball Classic, Magic's Round Ball Classic. We have some of the best high schoolers in the world here, and they're going to play Sunday, and I'm a big ball fan. I get to coach them, and hey, what more can I say?
Well, hopefully you guys have a great time, and hopefully those young guys will flourish and have great college careers.
Oh, you got to see them. You got to see them. They got the best legs I've ever seen in my life. They get up. They get up.
Thanks a lot.
Okay,
Ron Duck.
All right, Warren. I'll tell you, Cooper's got a game, too. Curry's got a game. I've seen him play, did the All-Star game with him. Big NBA fan. Whistle and a foul is going to be on Addison. His second. Magic now with Horace Grant, Brian Shaw, Anthony Bowie, Dennis Scott, and Shaq.
Ron, the tempo of this game is much, much different than we saw on Wednesday night. I mean, the score at halftime was 66-60. Tonight, we're looking at 45-39. So what happens when you play a team on a twice in 3 nights or whatever, you're a little bit more prepared. You know where you want to stop teams, and usually the sequel is not nearly as good as the original.
That's right, as we've seen throughout the movie history. Horace gets them both. Shaq is 2 of 8 from the line. The rest of the team 8 of 9. But the Orlando Magic, who trailed by as many as 19 in the second quarter on Wednesday night, find themselves only in a 4-point hole here in the second. Here in the second quarter, 2:29 left in the half.
A isolation, Grant Hill on Dennis Scott, the fading jump shot. Beautiful play. The double team just couldn't get there quickly enough to get to Grant as he faded away from the traffic.
Hill 5 of 8. Bowie lets it go. Shaquille O'Neal for the slam.
That was a great eye contact play. Anthony Bowie looked like he was going to shoot the jumper. He left his feet, and he saw Shaquille O'Neal just float it to him right at the front of the rim. That's why you got to try to get, Shaquille O'Neal's like a scorer in hockey that hangs around the net. You got to try to get him away.
6 assists now for Anthony Bowie.
Here comes the double team once again. Grant Hill spins away from it, finds the open man, and Raphael Addison with the 3.
And here comes Bowie. Shaq has beaten everybody down court with only Lindsey Hunter to guard him, but Bowie holds it up. Shaw now posting up on Hunter. The rebound, the follow, the basket.
A little mismatch that time. Brian Shaw going into the post at 6'6", taking Lindsey Hunter at 5'10". Lindsey has the quickness. Obviously, Brian Shaw with the height.
16-6 run now for the Magic. Hunter for 3. Miller battling his own player, Addison, for the ball. Dumars cuts loose with the 3. Third time again. What a pass out of Oliver Miller to Joe Dumars. 7 for Dumars. The lead is back to 4. We are inside of a minute. Scott sets the pick. Shaw pops out. Now Hunter on Scott.
See a little screen roll just to get the mismatch. They get the double team. They kick the ball out to Anthony Bowie. And once again, there's Shaquille O'Neal. They just can't get him out of the lane, Ron.
An emphatic rebound. Just a reminder, at the conclusion of tonight's game, Doug and I will be selecting the Budweiser player of the game. It's a pretty good touch pass by Oliver Miller down low.
Oliver Miller's got great hands. I mean, he can pass the ball. And Ron, I think you said it best, the no-look pass, his commitment to just getting in shape. And the one thing that they've done here in Detroit this year is to not talk to him at all about his weight. So we're not going to talk to you about that, Oliver. But he got hurt and he got heavy. And this is a guy that could be a terrific shot blocker and rebounder on that front line if he would just get his weight down.
Well, if Shaq can get the free throws down, he's only 3 of 10 tonight, but the lead is just 3, 39.8 left in the first half.
So they go 2 for 1. See if Dumars tries to get a quick shot up here.
Still have time, 13 to shoot. Hill goes right around Scott. Miller tries to get it, no. Shot clock and game clock just about the same. Nice pass to Shaquille O'Neal.
How about Shaquille O'Neal outran Lindsey Hunter down the floor to get the layup. That's twice tonight we've seen him sprint out on the floor and be the first man down and be the finisher.
21 first half points for Shaquille O'Neal.
Well, he realizes the importance of this game. They're battling for that best record overall. Right now they're going to have the best record in the East, but they're in a dogfight right now with San Antonio. Grant Hill again. Beautiful slashing drive off the wrong foot.
13 for Hill in the first half, 21 for O'Neal. The battle is shaping up between 2 of the best in the league. But it was all the Detroit Pistons. The last Orlando lead was at 4-2, but as they head to the locker room, they find themselves trailing by 3, 51-48. Stay with us. The Reebok Halftime Report with Ernie Johnson coming your way next.
Catch Inside Stuff Saturday mornings.
It's not just how you play the game. It's how you call for the ball.
Come on, baby, I got him. Give me the rock, baby. We got him. For the road. Yeah. Ah! Looking at it, baby. Come on, hit me off. Hit me off. Ah! Yeah. Woo!
If you're talking my game,
You don't know, you better ask somebody.
you're talking Foot Locker.
There's something about my hat that makes me feel mellow. When I wear it, I just want to chill. Some teams think I should wear it, even when I play. Get real.
Logo Athletic, authentic NBA licensed products.
They're poppable and handy, the perfect bite-sized candy. For good times, they're just dandy. Nestle Bunch of Crunch, they're crispy and they're crunchy. A chocolate-covered munchie, you love them by the bunchy. Nestle Bunch of Crunch, munch, bunch.
A crunch.
They're quirky and they're fun, so look out, here they come. Now get your hands on some Nestle Bunch of Crunch.
Hey, good morning and welcome to Today.
Come on, guys, you're such an inspiration. So hip, so hot, so happening to you and hey. That's a winning combination. Wait till we get our hands on you. I can't wait, can't wait. Just wait till we get our hands on you. Hey.
The Reebok Halftime Report is brought to you by Reebok.
All right, they're halfway home at the Palace of Auburn Hills, and the Pistons will try to keep a perfect record intact. They have not lost at home when they've led at the half. They're 13-0, and they lead the Magic by 3. Ernie Johnson in Atlanta with the Reebok Halftime Report. May not be a make-or-break weekend for the Bulls and Cavs, but it comes close. Chicago has taken the number 5 spot in the East away from the Cavs as they open up a home-and-home Friday-Sunday thing. Right now, the number 5 seed would get Charlotte in the first round. Number 6 would open up in New York. Bulls and Cavs have an interesting history. Cleveland has taken 2 out of 3 this season and 8 of the last 10 regular season meetings. But come playoff time, man, it's been all Chicago. The Bulls knocking the Cavs out 5 times since 1988, including the last 3 years in a row. Tonight they are at the United Center. Michael Jordan and the guys, they're 6-2.
Doug Collins, Warren Moon, I'm Ron Thulin. And Doug, the one thing you have to say about the first 24 minutes, there was no tempo and no rhythm whatsoever in the game.
Well, Ron, a lot of that is because the strategy of the Pistons is, you know, if the ball goes inside and get it into the lane, Shaquille O'Neal, we're going to foul him. He took 10 free throws in the first half. And I look for, if the game is close, for him to shoot 25 free throws in the game tonight. So be aware that the second half could be just as slow.
Here's Shaquille on the break. A little movement of the ball by the Orlando Magic.
Well, you can just see Shaq now. He ran the floor. That's twice he did this in the ball game. This time he beats Lindsey Hunter. Earlier in the game, he outran the big people and got the three-point play. But you can see Shaquille O'Neal, what he's done from the field, 9 of 12. The rest of the team 8 of 26. And at the free throw line, that's just reversed. He's 3 of 10. The rest of the team is 8 of 9. And the Pistons trio, Hill, Houston, and Dumars, you've seen what they've done. Grant Hill, 13 points. Allen Houston, 14. They've combined for 54% of the points. Let's see. Now, here's Grant Hill. Let's look what they're trying to do. They're trying to run Horace Grant out here and trap him. But what happens is Dennis Scott lets him get to the outside. And when he does, it breaks down their defense. And when this happens, we stop it here. This is where this man has got to be able to slide over, get his hands up into the passing lane, and take away that pass. Brian Shaw's late getting there. He sort of spectates, and Lindsey Hunter ends up getting the open jump shot. So with Grant Hill's penetration, they're trying to force him to a double team. But, Ron, you said something. He used patience, and he took the ball right where he wanted to go, even with the double team.
Well, Doug, where we want to go right now is Warren Moon, who's chatted with both coaches at halftime. Warren?
Well, right now, I talked to the Magic assistant coaches, and they want to do a better job of fronting Joe Dumars, because when they've been double teaming him down in the post, he's hitting the open man. So they want to front him a little more this half. From the Pistons side, they want to get out and run a little bit more and try and box Shaq off the boards a little bit more. They feel like he's getting too many inside shots too easily. Back to you, Ron.
Thanks, Warren. Mills is playing with a sprained ankle, hobbling just a little bit underneath. This is the first shot of the second half.
Well, they need some production out of Horace Grant, too. He was 0 for 5 in that first half with only 2 points and 3 rebounds, so they need Horace to give them a big second half. This is a big game, Ron, for Orlando.
Oh, yes.
They're in the battle for the best record, and we know that their road record is 18 and 17 on the year. Their home record is 36 and 2, and they're looking at a possible second round showdown with the Chicago Bulls. They definitely would like to have the home court advantage all the way throughout the playoffs.
Especially when you look at that home court record.
That's right, 36 and 2.
Not bad. Houston almost has his pocket picked by Royal.
Screen roll, and they're forcing it baseline.
Houston calls a timeout as Shaquille O'Neal and Donald Royal combined for an effective double team, and it's going to be a 20-second timeout. Now, if you're Orlando, Brian Hill told us before the game, Doug, he wanted to move the ball. They had 5 fast break points in that first half, and I think the key is all by Shaquille O'Neal. That proves how much they miss Penny Hardaway right about now.
Right. I mean, Penny Hardaway is the guy that not only is going to get the outlet pass and go, but he's a good rebounder. And Nick Anderson is a good rebounder. So what they're going to do is they're going to be able to push the ball out quicker, get you out in the open floor. What's happening now is when the Magic rebound the basketball, they're sort of having to wait for their point guard to come back and get it. By that time, the Pistons have recovered defensively, and there are no transition breaks. So from the Orlando standpoint, they miss Penny Hardaway and his ability to really push that ball up the floor.
As I mentioned, Penny Hardaway with a bruised esophagus. He is back home in Orlando. Nick Anderson with that concussion suffered when Rafael Addison clinked heads with him on Wednesday night. Both should be back next week. The concern is really for Penny Hardaway. He has lost just about 10, 12 pounds in the last week or so and is not able to eat.
I think I need a bruised esophagus. Maybe I could drop 10 or 12 quick. You can have 10 or 12 of mine, Ron. I wouldn't even blink.
I know our producer probably could go with that, but I got a roar from the truck, I'm sure. Just kidding, killer. Hill. Mills goes baseline, doesn't get it. Rebound, Mark West, who's shooting 55% this year. That is his lowest since 1988. which shows you Mark West's range. It's usually right where he shot from there.
Well, Grant Hill did everything on that possession except score for the Pistons. He pushed the ball up the floor. He got Mills a shot, then he slapped it off the board to keep it alive, and Mark West got the rebound and laid it in. Those are the little things that you don't see in the box score.
Magic, who scored only 27 points in the first 18 minutes of the first half, 21 points in the last 6, are cold here to begin the third quarter. Houston, that's exactly what Anthony Bowie did not want him to do. Halftime, he set the feet and drained the shot.
You must step up and stop the ball. Grant Hill drove the ball right into the lane, totally collapsed the defense. Allen Houston got his feet together and buried the three.
The NBA on TNT is brought to you by GNC Truck and by Dutch Boy Paint.
When you look at some holes, you can't help thinking, man, it sure is easy to lose balls. Well, right now it's just as easy to find balls. Just pick up a Michelob Golfers 18 pack and get a certificate good for a free sleeve of new Ultra 500 series golf balls. It's a great way to replenish your ball supply. As far as the rest of your equipment goes, you're on your own.
For over 90 years, we've built a reputation for truck strength. Now we're adding a new dimension of even greater comfort. With a luxury of leather and a refined new interior, surrounded by all the strength you'd expect from GMC trucks, which may be the greatest comfort of all.
I was abused as a child, and now I have a son of my own. I haven't done anything to harm my baby. I never would. I know there's a better way of disciplining your children than hurting them. I love my son very much, and I don't want to hurt him, but I don't want to take any chances. Maybe you could help me. He is 2 now, and I'm afraid I would do the same thing to him as my mom did to me.
Magic yet to score in the third quarter as the Pistons have opened up an 8-point advantage. We mentioned Wednesday night. Here's the injury to Nick Anderson.
Well, they were very concerned, Ron, that he was seriously hurt. You see Nick Anderson, 25. He goes inside and he collides with Raphael Addison, goes down, was out for 3 or 4 minutes unconscious. They take him off on a stretcher with a neck brace. Fortunately, all the x-rays were negative. They expect him to be out maybe a week and be back. That's good news. And this is bad news for the Magic. Grant Hill rebounding. No one's stopping the ball. Look where Grant Hill takes it. He stops it, collapses the defense, and there's Allen Houston getting his feet together and burying his third 3 of this ball game, all on the penetration and the collapsing of the defense and finding the open man.
Magic got within 1 at 49-48 late in the first half. We'll go the other way with it. 7-0 run for Detroit since then.
Oh, great pass.
Dumars to Mark West.
Grant Hill with a block shot. So we see Grant Hill with an assist, a block shot, a rebound, and a link to the floor pass. None of it says 2 points by his name, but his team has 5 because of it.
Shaw lets it go, drains the 2. Shaw now with 7 in the ball game, but the lead for the Pistons is 8.
Once the pace picked up, you could see it favor the Pistons.
Bowie on Hill. Royal chasing Houston. That's the way they started the ball game. Nice look. Houston. Hill. Basket. Hill now with 15 points, 7 assists, 8 rebounds, looking straight in the eye of a triple-double.
And he's never had that in his career. He's never had a triple-double.
In fact, the last triple-double by the Detroit Pistons was Isaiah Thomas on February 1st, 1987 versus the Bulls.
Here's Grant Hill with the fast break. He penetrates once again. He hits Dumars, who finds a no-look pass. Shaquille this time did not get down the floor. And it's Mark West who runs the floor and gets the basket. Horace Grant looking for his first jump shot, and he finally gets it. Ronnie was 0 for 5 again in that first half. Only 2 free throws, 3 rebounds. This time he buried the open jump shot.
And he's fouled by Terry Mills. That'll be Mills' third. So Mills with 3, West with 3, Lechner with 3. At the line it will be Horace Grant. Horace Grant, who likes being around all what he calls the young kids of the team. Collects Sam Cooke records, and he said most of these guys don't even know who Sam Cooke is.
Yeah, like Horace is the gray beard now.
Yeah,
He's going to be 29.
All of 29 years old. Dumars. 10 to shoot. Hill around everyone. The trip by either Grant or Anthony Bowie. They've got their choice. I think they're going to call it on Grant. It is on Horace Grant. His second. As we head toward the playoffs, the place to be is right here on TNT. And Tuesday night at 9 o'clock Eastern Time, we're going to have the Phoenix Suns and the Seattle Supersonics as both continue to jockey for playoff positions. Bob Neal will join Doug for the game. Special time noted 9 o'clock Eastern Time right here on TNT. Your place to be for the playoffs.
See that screen roll again. They're pushing it baseline. They want Mills to roll out and shoot the outside jump shot, but Horace Grant is rotating very quickly to him and not letting him get into any kind of rhythm. The screen roll, this time the Magic get a switch, and now the double team. Good defense by the Pistons here.
Grant. Shaquille is fouled.
Shaquille is not going to get any more layups unless he's absolutely by himself or he carries someone to the basket and dunks them and the ball.
Which is possible.
That is possible. That he's going to be shooting a lot of free throws. And again, Ron, I'm going to predict right now, if this game stays close, that Shaquille will shoot anywhere from 22 to 25 free throws once again tonight.
Well, we're at 11 and 12 now. And he's only made 3 of 11 so far. As Oliver Miller comes in, Mark West has to sit down with 4 personal fouls. In case you just joined us, Detroit led by 11 at the end of one, 28-17. Magic cut it to 3 at halftime, 51-48, but they have struggled here in the second half.
Well, Shaq's free throw tonight just looks real flat, Ron. He's not been able to get up and extend. That's really the only thing he's not done well tonight is shoot the free throws, but his shot just looks a little flat.
22 for O'Neal, 60-54 is our score. Just inside of 8 minutes of the third. Grant Hill, nice-looking move. The bank is open. Hill now with 17 in the ball game. He's only missed 5 of 13 shots.
You know, this is my first time seeing Grant play as a pro in the All-Star game. I've not seen him all year.
He's a live body out there.
Yes, he is.
Shaquille O'Neal with the turnaround. That is becoming one of his pet moves.
You see how quickly they're trying to advance the ball up the floor, though, trying to take advantage of the Magic before they can get back and get Shaq there as a shot blocker. Here's the isolation once again for Grant Hill in the double team.
Grant showed the double. Mills, Miller, still 8 to shoot. Dumars looks up at the clock.
He's got that clock programmed in his head. That's a bad
Just
pass.
lost the handle. Just lost the handle of the basketball, whistle, and a foul.
We're going to look at Grant Hill in the post. He's got the isolation, and he senses Shaquille coming over, and he lofts it high up off the board. A nice little jump hook by Grant Hill, seeing a little bit of his post game.
Timeout. We'll be back.
Every Saturday night, TNT Saturday Nitro.
At GMC Truck, we built a reputation for truck strengths. A considerable advantage that also comes in this handy take-home size. Sierra from GMC Truck.
This Easter Sunday, TNT proudly presents a world premiere miniseries, Joseph. Betrayed by his family.
I say we kill him.
Sold as a slave. Falsely accused. And unjustly punished.
I want his death.
Is there nothing you can say in your defense?
Only power would change his life forever.
I make you the governor of all of Egypt.
Bring them to me.
Take them! Now! No! No!
Joseph, a world premiere miniseries starring Academy Award winner Ben Kingsley, Martin Landau, Leslie Ann Warren, and Paul Mercurio as Joseph.
Do you dare raise your voice to me? Men can die for this.
With the power to seek revenge, will he be strong enough to forgive Joseph? A TNT Bible story. A 2-night television event Easter Sunday on TNT. The best movie studio on television.
62-56 is our score. 7-11 remaining in the third quarter, and we've talked about Grant Hill's quest for the triple-double. And Doug, this in the last 2 weeks, he has come oh so close.
Well, you see the numbers, and it looks like tonight that he's got a great shot at it. He's 17 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists. Ron, the thing that jumps out at me, and we were talking about this while we were in commercial, is it's really his economy of motion, and it's effortless for Grant. He just glides up and down the floor. It looks like he's really not pushing himself, but he just does everything so very well on the floor, and he makes it look so easy.
Well, he also has 5 offensive rebounds included in that total of 8 tonight. Orlando, last 12 minutes have been pretty good without Penny Hardaway. No turnovers. But then again, they're playing it very safe offensively. Allen Houston. Here's side to Hill. Shaw picks him up now as the Magic switch up defensively.
Again, you can see what's happening, Ron. When they push that screen and roll down to the baseline, they're just flaring Mills back to the jump shot, but the Magic are rotating very quickly. Here, Horace again gets out and forces him to take a tough shot. That's a good defensive effort by the time by the Orlando Magic.
Mills 1 for 10.
Well, Shaquille wants the ball in the post. He's got great position.
Doesn't complete it. That time he does. Oliver Miller did not have a prayer on Shaq.
You know what happened with Oliver Miller? He forced Shaq to miss, and then he stopped playing. And the ball, when it was knocked loose, Shaq just took it. I mean, you've got to keep your body on Shaq until the play is over and your team has the ball.
Well, he has 26 points, 13 rebounds. Make it 14 rebounds for Shaquille O'Neal. He's averaging 11.2 on the season. Bowie, nice save, goes into the roll of photographers and gets right back up. 10 to shoot. Dumars right on top of Shaw.
Oh, great pass.
Nice pass. Grant Hill had no choice but to foul him as Lecter will come back into the lineup for the Pistons.
Oh, Shaquille's game, Ron, is really, really getting better. I mean, when he first came into the league, he was indecisive, passing out of double teams. This time he makes a beautiful pass to Horace Grant, cutting right to the basket.
And here is tonight's GMC scoreboard as the Celtics 8th in the East, trying to hold on to that playoff position. And Atlanta,
wow,
whoa, my goodness. I don't know what Lenny Wilkins said, but he should bottle it.
His halftime score. Chicago plays back-to-back against Cleveland, and if they were to win both of those games against Cleveland, I think it would probably ensure Chicago of the 5th seed in the East, probably opening up against the Charlotte Hornets.
You saw Dallas winning, and Dallas with that outside chance. You know, I think they're like 2 or 3 games back in the loss column now, and they're doing it without Jimmy Jackson, although he may be playing tonight.
Well, Jason Kidd has been terrific towards the last 6-8 weeks of the year. His numbers have gone up, and more importantly, his team winning basketball games. And you know, when you judge players, you judge them on how their team is doing, and you cannot argue the fact that Jason Kidd and the Dallas Mavericks are much improved this year because of him.
Magic on a 10-2 run as Horace Grant, uncharacteristically 5 for 5 from the line. It's usually the other way around. 7 points as Brian Shaw is whistled for the foul. That is Shaw's 4th personal foul. We talked about the rookie influence as we get a technical foul also on Brian Shaw, but Grant Hill's a +6, Jason +19.
Well, I tell you, say something here, and they throw it up and document it. This is sort of scary.
Our guys are hot,
I mean, you guys are hot back there in the
truck.
truck.
What? We're getting ready for the playoffs, and everybody's starting to gear it up just like the teams do. That technical was on Brian Shaw, by the way. And Joe Dumars completes it. Dumars 4 of 5 from the stripe. He has 8 points in the ball game as Brooks Thompson comes back in, and Brian Shaw's going to sit down. Shaw also has 4 personal fouls.
Well, you know what's going to happen now. Dumars is going to go right into the post against Brooks Thompson. If they can get the ball inside, it'll be a double team once again, and then let's see who gets the open shot.
The double by Horace. Bowie looking out of the corner of his eye. Royal almost had a piece of it.
That was well defended that time by the Magic. They chased him out of the post and then recovered.
Houston bumping bodies. It's going to be a charging call on Allen Houston as Brooks Thompson, a former Oklahoma Stater, stepped right up and took it.
He's got a lot of confidence, Ron. I'm telling you.
Yeah,
really,
confidence
really
is a word I'd use for Brooks. He's a fun guy to talk to.
See him step right in, give up his body, and then he hits Shaquille's knee. Sure, Brian Hill's saying, "How's your knee, Shaquille?" Not worried about Brooks' hand.
It says something, doesn't it? Hill got,
you're in a Shaq, your knee okay?
Yes, your knee okay. By the way, Brooks, stand up his way next time, will you? Well, Hill picks up his 3rd personal foul. Just a reminder, inside the NBA coming your way. As we have a timeout on the court. Calling question before we go to the break. Who's going to be the Rookie of the Year? Phones are open now. 1-800-406-HOOP. Ernie Johnson and Tim Brando are standing by, and we will too after this timeout, with the Pistons leading by 3.
The car on the right was filled with Castrol Syntec, a full synthetic oil, the other with conventional oil. They were then drained and started without oil to prove a point. You see, Syntec has a unique molecular structure that bonds to engine parts. Lab tests show it leaves a layer of protection far stronger than conventional oil. And if Syntec protects this well now, imagine if you leave it in. Castrol Syntec protects in ways other oils can't. Try Castrol Syntec, now also available in the 10W30.
In the preseason, my back hurts. My arms hurt. My legs hurt. My brain hurts. Even my teeth hurt. But come the regular season, it's all worthwhile. Because I get to hurt right back.
63-60 is our score. The last Orlando Magic lead was at 4-2 early in the first quarter. Now, Orlando's schedule, Doug, they have a number of winnable games.
Well, you'd expect this to be a win, and Cleveland at home a win, and at Boston a win, at Miami, question mark. Washington, I would give them 2 wins. Indiana, I think they'll win at home, and at New York, a question mark. So when you look at their schedule, that could be possibly 8 out of 10 wins, which would put them in good position going for that best record that we talked about. Tonight is a very important game for them, going to Philadelphia. These are the games that you've got to be able to win if you're going to have that record that you'd like to have and not be given a lip service about what you'd like to have done and then not accomplishing it.
And that game on the 21st, by the way, against Indiana will be seen right here on TNT.
I have that game.
And that may come down to it. May come down to it for Brian Hill and company. Brian Hill all year long has said, I know we're a good basketball team, but he's kept a very steady, even hand on this ball club and trying to keep the expectations realistic, not too high.
Ron, you hit the nail right on the head. As a coach, you're walking that fine line where you want your team to know that you have confidence in them and that you feel like you can win it all. And at the same time, you're trying to diffuse all the expectations through the media and the fans and the talk radio about what they think should happen to your team this year. And remember now, I know this has been beat to death, but this franchise has never yet won a playoff game.
Right. 26 free throw attempts for Orlando, only 11 for Detroit.
Post up once again, Dumars double team.
Inside, Oliver Miller with the slam.
No one stepped over in front of Oliver Miller. That time, Shaquille O'Neal sort of got caught spectating.
No one wanted to step in front of Oliver Miller.
The shot's going to be right there for Horace Grant all night long. They've gone big now. Oliver Miller is playing against Horace Grant. Lechner against Shaquille O'Neal. The ball goes in. They're double teaming big. Horace Grant will have the wide open shot at the top of the circle. That's only 2 for 7 now in the evening for Horace.
And the last 9 games, he has been able to average 16 points while shooting 65% from the floor. As Doug mentioned, shaky start. Dumars now being switched by Anthony Bowie. Pistons throw it away.
Ball goes into the post to Dumars, the double team, and you're going to see Shaquille O'Neal in your picture, and he does not have body and vision on Oliver Miller. And Oliver Miller that time gets the score. Look at this pass by Anthony Bowie. The ball stayed in the building and almost was put in by Shaq.
Nice hustle by Royal. Shaq tries to get it to Grant, pushed out. Detroit 3 turnovers in the last 3 minutes, need to convert. And they do with Joe Dumars. Dumars with 10 of the ball game. The lead is back to 4. Orlando keeps knocking, but just can't go through the door. Thompson, a lot of dribbling. Miller gives Grant the room, and he buries it.
That's the first time that the Magic were able to get to the middle on the screen roll, and in doing that, Horace Grant rolled out and got the jump shot.
Brooks Thompson settled down, Doug, since that shaky first and second quarter.
That's going to happen. You're going to have your moments, and you just have to play through them. I thought Brian Hill did a nice job of resting them.
Well, there's a foul on Thompson. He said he can't even put a hand on Joe Dumars.
Here the Pistons out running on the fast break. It's actually a 4-on-2 break. Maybe 4-on-3. They had numbers, and Joe Dumars gets the nice finish.
Thompson's second personal foul. Dumars, a quick turnaround. Lechner! My goodness! Eric, stop the game. We'll give you the ball. I wonder how many times that's happened in his NBA career.
Well, that's what happens when you have to double team. You three guys slashing to the basket. No one's able to block that. Look at Brooks Thompson with a nice slashing move to the basket and the score. I think Joe Dumars that time just sort of underestimated his quickness.
Thompson, the southpaw, uses the left hand for his 5th point of the game. The lead is just 2.
See, they've changed defensively. Now they've put Anthony Bowie over on Dumars so that they can take away the post play. So now they're going into Allen Houston posting up.
Lechner tries to slash. Shaq gives him some room.
Whoever Brooks Thompson's going to play defensively with his big back court, that's who they're going to post.
Now Shaq posting up on Lechner. He's too deep. And we have a whistle and a foul. It'll either be on Miller or Lechner. And that'll be on Oliver Miller. Miller second. Puts Orlando in a penalty situation.
Well, you can see sort of a tale of two different teams here. The Magic average almost 31 free throws a game, which is second in the league. The Pistons under 24, which is 26. And you see the disparities. Orlando has attempted 15 more tonight. And Ron, on the year, one of the downfalls of this Piston team has been that their opponents shoot 9 more free throws a game than they do, and they make 6 more. And they get out-rebounded by over 5 rebounds a night. So you take those two statistics, and really that's been sort of the doom and gloom for this Pistons team all season.
Shaq now just 4 of 14 from the stripe. Now the 3 meetings between these two teams prior to tonight. Orlando has averaged 45 free throws. Detroit only 21. That's a 3. Allen Houston drains the 3, his 4th of the ball game. His 6th point of the half.
There's that shot for Horace Grant once again.
Shaq had the position, loose ball foul underneath. And it's going to be called on the Magic.
You know, Eric Lechner is frustrating Shaquille a little bit. He is trying to put his body on him. It's really the only guy all night long that has done that. And I think Shaq, out of anger here, just pushed Eric Lechner. Let's watch here. Let's see him. He just sort of throws him to the side, and he gets the loose ball foul. I think also someone gets a technical.
Shaq just got the tee. So Brian Shaw has a technical. Shaq just picks up the technical. Allen Houston makes him pay. And Shaq giving it to Ron Garretson, and now Brian Hill also up off the bench talking to Garretson. Brian got his 7th technical of the year Wednesday night against this same Detroit Piston team.
He's going to mess around and get another one here. Ron Garretson giving him a little attitude. He's actually out of the coaching box, if there is one in the NBA. Here's Shaq practicing his rapping. You see Ron Garretson going quickly for his whistle there.
Yes.
He couldn't get it in his hand soon enough.
Bad hands by the official. Brian, I was kidding him last week at supper saying, you've already lost $3 grand for your wife Kay to spend. Don't get another tee.
That's why you got to get that clause in your contract, Ron. Cover them
pays.
Cover them technicals.
Richie Adebayo set up to me today. He goes, you'll never match me. I had 20 one season. Oh, that hurt the rim. Eric Lechner, all he did was make the animal mad.
That was anger. Look at Eric Lechner said, what? Hit me and I get the foul? Look how quick Shaq is. Split the double team. Oh.
My goodness.
Look at Eric says, woo. Maybe he'll get that second tee and get thrown out of here. I don't want to
get him out of there. Well, you know, it's pretty good strategy, though, when you think about it, Doug.
Well, you got 30 fouls. Why not?
Couple of finals. Charlotte trying to hang on without Harrell.
That's really going to hurt them in the playoffs. Scotty Darrell, Boston wins, so they're hanging under that 8th playoff spot in the East.
5 of 16 from the line for Shaquille O'Neal. Hill inside. What a reverse! Oliver Miller is there to finish it up.
You notice the energy's come up in this game. Shaquille got angry, and the energy level has gone sky high right now.
Scott for 3. Shaq, look out, everybody. Great save, Lindsey Hunter. Here comes Houston. Go on the right.
Oh!
move we have seen this year, coming from the second-year pro out of Tennessee, Allen Houston.
Well, we talk about the future of this franchise. It was Grant Hill on the wing, and it was Allen Houston in the middle, and he fakes the pass, and the beautiful dunk in the finish. Allen Houston was excited. His teammates were excited, and these fans have gotten excited. This is the most energy we've had in this building all evening.
13 fast break points for the Pistons, only 5 for the Magic, and now you have 21,000 plus on their feet cheering this team.
This is what I used to remember coming in here and coaching when it was the bad boys of Detroit. We'd come in with Chicago. This is what this arena was like for 48 minutes. That's what they'd like to get back. And they have a great start with Allen Houston and Grant Hill, 2 super young players.
Houston showed a little bit there. Now we've talked about the Orlando Magic losing 11 of 14 on the road, 11 of the last 14 on the road. That has been tough, and you can see 18 and 17, believe it or not, Doug, that ties the team record for road victories.
With Anthony Hardaway out and Nick Anderson, someone's got to help Shaquille O'Neal tonight. He's trying to carry this team, and they're loading up on him. So either Horace Grant or Dennis Scott, someone has got to score some points for this team, and right now they're not getting it done. Shaquille's trying to do it all alone.
But Doug, you know, you talk about the top of the show, the inside versus the outside. Right now, the inside of Detroit not doing too badly themselves. They're holding their own against Shaq.
Yeah, that's 32-30 Orlando and 27. Here's a pick by Lindsey Hunter in half court on Brooks Thompson, and the dunk.
My goodness. What a move by Lindsey Hunter. All 6'2" of them. Brooks Thompson did not have a prayer at 6'4".
Technical foul on Brian Hill. You knew that was coming.
There's another $500. The second technical of the third quarter. This one going to Brian Hill.
The Orlando feels it's slipping away right now. They've got to do something to try to get control of this game. And, you know, Ron, for those teams now out there looking, and I know Hardaway's not here, and I know Nick Anderson isn't, but you start talking about where can Orlando be vulnerable in the playoffs, and this is what we've talked about, possibly on the free throw line and forcing Shaquille O'Neal to make a lot of foul shots. Someone's got to hit some outside jump shots right now. Shaquille's getting double and triple team, and everybody's trying to drive the ball to the basket.
Brooks Thompson pulls the trigger from 16, and he buries it. Big basket. But you know, Doug, I've seen Orlando on the road a number of occasions this year, and this is a team that I get the feeling thinks they can turn it on anytime they need to. But most of the time when they have tried to flip the switch, it hasn't been there on the road.
Well, they've made rallies, but they haven't been able to finish and win. There's a screen roll again with Eric Lechner. So right now, Detroit's running a clinic on the offensive end of the floor. They're getting anything they want and getting point-blank shots.
13-3 run for Detroit. Outside, Grant buries the jumper, whistle, and a foul underneath. A loose ball foul. Let's see if the basket is good. Steve Javy and Ron Gerritsen talking about it, along with Sean Corbin.
See, what's happened is Eric Lechner is the first guy for Detroit to put a body on Shaq, and he's frustrated. This is twice now that Shaq has just thrown him down. That's frustration. Ron Shaq is going to have to get used to this. This is what he's going to see in the playoffs. Guys are going to be putting their body on him.
He's going to get hit from all sides. The basket was good by Horace Grant. So Grant with 11 points here in the third quarter. Shaq has to sit down. That is his third foul, Doug. Hats off to Eric Lechner tonight.
I think it's a good strategy, too, there by Brian Hill to take Shaquille out of the game and calm him down. Because with all the injuries, they can't get him thrown out there. He's already got one technical, and they're only down 10. They're still within striking range.
Oh, yes. As we mentioned, they were down 19 Wednesday night against this Detroit Piston team. Don Chaney said, you know, he goes, we know that we can play with some of these guys like Orlando and New York, who they play tomorrow night. Final 5 seconds of the third. Thompson, better hurry. Throws it up, rejected by Oliver Miller at the buzzer, and Miller gives him the glare. Led by Allen Houston, Grant Hill, and Eric Lechner. The Detroit Pistons will head to the fourth and final quarter, leading by 11. And the Magic find themselves in a hole.
There's a place where UV rays beat down so mercilessly they're nearly twice as intense as the sun's. No, it's not some blazing spot in the equator. It's the Dutch Boy Paint Testing Facility, where we test our exterior house paints to make sure they resist fading, blistering, and peeling. It's one of over 75 tests we do to make sure that when you buy Dutch Boy, you're not just getting a paint that looks beautiful. You're getting a paint that lasts. We guarantee it. Give your home the lasting look of Dutch Boy.
My dad once said, 90% of sports is from the neck up. Experience tells me he was right. They say only the strong survive. Experience tells me it's true. Now, I know I'm just a rookie, but I see what it takes to succeed. Hard work, strength, experience.
You've got the magic touch. It makes me glow so much. It casts a spell. It rings a bell. The magic touch. Do, 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 do.
There are no medals for being the shoulder to cry on. No songs of praise for keeping traditions alive. But to the men who give their best every day, we offer our best. Gillette Sensor XL. Spring-mounted blades and microfins to set up your beard. And Gillette Series shaving gel for incredible smoothness. Sensor XL, the world's best shave. And sometimes that's its own reward. Gillette, the best a man can get.
He's back. And so will be the playoffs on Turner Sports. The upsets, the stars, the emotion. All beginning on Turner Sports April 27th, as we are once again proud to bring you over 40 playoff games of the 1995 NBA playoffs right here on Turner Sports on TNT and TBS. So circle April 27th. We have a bunch of games for you. Favorite time of the year, 83-72 is our score. The Magic trail it by 11. The Detroit Pistons 13-1 at home when leading after 3 quarters. That is the one bright spot this year for the small club. Bowie hit from behind. Miller's whistle for the infraction.
Ryan, you see right here, Shaquille talking to Brian Hill during that last timeout. He said, you know, Brian, I'm okay. I've calmed down. You know, put me back in the game right now. I think it'll be interesting to see how much rest Brian Hill gives him. This team now down 10, trying to cut it to 9. Maybe gives him another minute and then puts him into that playoff or that final surge here in the fourth quarter.
Bowie gets them both. And you know, you hear so many times, Doug, of course Brian Hill's winning. He has all the talent, but this is when Brian's earning his money. When he's making these moves like, when do I play Shaq? Yes, he's got talent, but you're dealing with a lot more than that.
Well, you got to have talent to win championships. They can say that about any coach in America. Right? You know, I don't know a coach yet that's ever won a championship or had a great record without having great players.
That's right. He doesn't apologize for the talent. Is Avent whistled for the foul. His third personal. Lechner with 2.
Grant Hill with the save, and Lindsey Hunter takes to the basket. Again, the ball knocked loose from behind, and Oliver Miller with a great pass. You know, and Eric Lechner's been the man in the right spot at the right time all evening long.
He's out of Wyoming, doesn't get it to go, but he does have 10 points in the ball game, only averaging a shade under 4 this year. 11-point Piston lead. We have played about 40 seconds here in the fourth. Scott, nice ball fake.
That's a good call, Ron. He made a beautiful ball fake there, and he got Grant Hill up in the air, and then he just took his time as Grant went past him, relocated, and hit the open jumper.
Both teams giving some of their starters a little rest. Hunter looks at the 3.
He's
2
so
dribbles
quick.
in the basket. Oh, yes.
He's so quick. If he will just play on balance. I felt that he played without balance. He was so quick. He never really got his legs underneath it. Bad shot.
3-on-2. Hill to the hole. Almost recovered after the ball was tipped from his hands.
Now, let me tell you something. I don't think that should be a two-shot foul. And I tell you why. Because Grant lost control of that ball. It left his hand, and then he recovered it. Normally, that takes the continuation off. They're going to give him 2 shots. But watch what happens. He gets it. I guess maybe the ball didn't go out of his hand. But if you lose control of the ball, and then you regain it in the air, and you take it to the basket, you lose your continuation.
Now let's check in with Warren Moon, who's standing behind the Orlando Magic bench. Warren?
Well, during that last timeout, Brian Hill really challenged his team as far as getting them out on the break. He wants them to get more aggressive as far as getting the ball down the floor to get back into this ball game. And he really tested their character just to see what they're made of. Right now, they lost a little poise in that last quarter with 3 technical fouls, but they've got to get out there and run a little bit more to get back in this ball game. Ron, Doug.
Keep in touch with you. Hill only 1 of 4 from the stripe tonight. He is 75% on the year. Scott goes through a couple of picks.
Now there's a good shot. He'll make that one.
Oh, you called that, big guy. Dennis Scott's second 3 of the ball game, and the Orlando Magic trying to chip away at the lead as Shaq will come back in. So he had roughly a 1:45-second rest.
Let's keep our eye on that last 3 plays. Now, Ron, just quietly, Grant Hill misses 2 free throws. Dennis Scott buries a 3. Oliver Miller throws the ball out of bounds. So you lose a possible 2 at the free throw line. You get a 3, and if they score here, instead of being down double figures, they could be down as low as 6. So those are subtle little things that happen during a game that you think weren't big plays, but they really were.
Interesting move. Brian Hill's going to give Horace Grant a little breathing time. Inside, Shaw with the basket and the foul.
See, now you're talking about an 8-point swing. The 2 free throws you missed and 6 down on this end. That's how games change so quietly.
It is an 87-81 lead. It is down to 6. It could be 5 when we come back with 10:18 left to play.
Jaws, the 20th anniversary, April 15th on TNT.
Would you look at that? Good with an iron. Plays right to left.
It's on your mind, it's on our cams. The Michelob Golfers 18-pack.
I think Muggsy is a player whose heart is probably bigger than he is, and it just shows that anybody can do what they want if they put their mind to it. Anytime a guy can make himself that successful and that good of a player at that disadvantage, you just got to take your hat off to him.
I think what he brings to the game is the idea that you can accomplish anything regardless of your size or height in anything that you choose to do, and that's what's most important.
I told you to stay out of the kitchen!
Isn't it strange that people spend 5 days a week trapped inside an office, only to spend their weekends trapped inside a fence? Presenting the 1995 175 horsepower rodeo. It can take you where you won't feel boxed in. Isuzu, practically amazing. See your local Isuzu dealer to check out the rodeo lease.
And here's tonight's Dutch boy in the paint. Points in the paint, even up. With the 2 stars, Shaq and Hill battling out. Grant so close to the first triple-double in his career. Here's that last play, Doug, and there's a guy who's very important in this play you might not think.
Yeah, it's called this guy right here. He's got to be in this position and not let this pass come in here. Allen Houston takes a little siesta here and lets the ball come to that side, and the guy gets a layup in a 3-point play. Lindsey Hunter got backpicked. No one helped. Allen Houston's got to take that pass away and force it to go out the other side of the floor.
Well, the Pistons, with already twice as many home wins as they had in '94, trying to hang on tonight for their 21st home win. Shaw in to complete the 3-point play. 87-81, 10-15 left to play in the ball game. This Pistons team, only 2 players remain on the team that was together 2 years ago. Terry Mills and Joe Dumars. Rafael Addison, who's checked in. Good spot-up shooter from 20 is the book on him, and he hits the 2.
Well, big basket right there. You're giving Grant Hill a little bit of a rest here. You'd like to be able to keep this lead to where it is so you don't have to bring Grant back too soon. Let him get his rest. Maybe bring him back about the 7-minute mark.
Shaq, Scott, Avent, Shaw, and Bowie.
Dennis Scott's starting to heat it up a little bit. He's got 2 little jumpers coming off of the screen down, and then he buries a 3 from the corner. He's starting to heat it up a little bit.
He's 3 for 4 in this quarter alone. Did not score in the 3rd quarter. That's 15 in the ballgame. Aben has to switch out on Hunter. Lechner, somebody has to have the mismatch. Miller had it, lost it. Scott comes up with a loose rock. The lead is 6. Aben took his eyes off the ball a little bit too high.
Absolutely great analysis there, Ron. He was thinking about, what am I going to do it when I catch it, and he forgot about catching it.
He had that look in his eye like a deer in headlights. Crowd getting quiet again. Addison on Scott with 10 to shoot. Backs his way in. Whistle and a foul and another stoppage of play. Avent whistle for the foul. That is his 4th personal foul. Just a reminder, coming up after our game tonight inside the NBA with Tim Brando. Warren Moon's going to stick around and talk with Grant Hill live. We'll have a little feature on Spike Lee and our call-in topic. Who will be the Rookie of the Year? The Schick Rookie of the Year, 1-800-406-HOOP with Tim Brando. Addison backs his way, a little up and under. Lechner knocked it away right into the hands of Scott with 8:40 to play.
Well, Shaquille came over and gave Addison just enough of a hand up in his face to force him to miss that shot.
Addison, nice defensive job. Got a piece of the pass. Illegal defense. That'll be the 3rd called on Detroit. The technical will be shot. Shaw coming over talking to Javi. Don Chaney on the sidelines. You know, this is a man who's been under pressure this entire season. Talked to him today about it, and he said, you know, I have no idea what's going to happen at the end of the year, but that is when they're going to talk to us. What's the illegal defense?
Well, here's Oliver Miller right here. Keep your eye on him. His man lifts up above the top of the line, and when he does, he's got to get up above that line. He's got to be above the free throw line. So what you do is you get guys now when they're lifted in isolation, they also referee to point it out.
He does it all. Well, they didn't want Shaq to get in that blue area, and that is exactly where he parked his big body.
Yeah, and I saw the Piston coaches saying, foul him. Don't give him a layup, foul him.
29 for Shaq, that is his average.
And what's going to happen, Eric Lechner's going to come out of the game, and probably for not taking this foul, and Mark West will come in now.
Lechner with 4 probably doesn't want to leave the game. Oh, nice job, Allen Houston on the leaner.
Sometimes you got to give yourself up, Ron, for the benefit of the team to win a ball game. And if it means fouling Shaq 15 times now and putting him on the line, you got to do it.
25 for Houston. Shakes Lechner away. The pass to Avent. Uses the body and can't finish. Tries it again, but he does draw the whistle. The foul is on Houston. Allen's 4th personal foul. A lot of guys getting in foul trouble here, Doug.
Well, Eric Lechner goes down once again. A great pass by Shaquille to Anthony Avent out of the double team. He keeps it alive, and again, you're going to see the fouls down in the paint. Anthony Avent on the season is a 64% free throw shooter. Horace Grant is a 68%, and Shaquille O'Neal is a 55% free throw shooter. So it could be the free throw shooting in the Magic down the stretch, win or lose this ball game.
What time's your flight tomorrow, Doug?
Well, we're going to have a lot of them. It's about 8 minutes to go, 7:45. And I'm telling you, Shaquille could shoot in this quarter himself.
He has 16 tonight as Bowie goes out. Royal checks back in. So Avent is joined by Scott, Royal, Shaq, and Shaw. Or as Ernie Johnson would say, the Shaw-Shaq redemption. I love that. I'll give him credit for it. It was good.
They missed both free throws.
That hurts. Why this team's only shooting 68% on the year, and they're 20 of 36 tonight. They were 32 of 49 on Wednesday night. Grant wants to get back into the lineup for the Magic.
Again, pushing that screen roll down baseline. This time Allen Houston pulls up and takes a bad shot. That's something you don't need now. You got a 5-point lead.
Magic have not led since it was 4-2 in the first quarter. They have gotten close on a number of occasions. Royal, that is his favorite move, straight to the hole, and he's going to be called for the offensive foul.
Donald Royal does not want to shoot the ball. You can see that, Ron. His first instinct was to catch it. He's wide open. Watch how open he is here now. Wide open, and his first reaction is to catch it even on the move. And Raphael Addison does a nice job stepping in there and takes the offensive foul. So what's going to have to happen? Brian Hill's going to have to get someone at the top of the circle that when they double team will take that shot. It'll probably be Horace Grant.
Well, now Grant back into the lineup. He switches over on West. Addison left wide open. Shaw lets it go out of bounds. Last touch by Mark West. Orlando has the ball with 6:54 left to be played. Shaw running the show. Anthony Hardaway back in Orlando. Shaq trying to get position. Here comes the double with 7 to shoot. Royal dishes off to Grant. Ron Gerritsen blows the whistle. Joe Dumars the infraction. Well, Detroit only 2 points in the last 3:20, Doug, but they're holding on.
14 fouls now for the Pistons, so for the rest of the quarter, the Magic will be shooting free throws.
There's a lot of time left.
Yeah, absolutely. Only 3 on the Magic, so they still have 2.
Substitution. Here comes Grant Hill. He'll come in for the remaining 6:35. Let's see who they're coming in for. And it'll be Allen Houston. Interesting substitution, Doug.
He'll probably get about 2 minutes, and then he'll come back to the ball game, probably for Addison, so they can get Houston, Dumars, and Grant Hill on the floor to finish the game.
Hill 1 rebound, 2 assists shy of a triple-double. Shaw for 3 off the left side. Oliver Miller with the rebound.
See, that's where they miss Nick Anderson, spotting up and shooting that three-pointer from the top of the arc, or an Anthony Hardaway even once they throw the ball out of double team to be the creator.
7 of the last 11 games, Detroit has scored 100 as Raphael Addison puts him 2 points closer to that mark again.
And Grant Hill's getting closer to the triple-double. I think that's 9 assists and 9 rebounds now for him.
Shaq, no question about that. O'Neal now with 31 in the ball game. Only 10 here in the second half.
It's going to be execution, and can the veteran Orlando team be able to pull this game out on the road against the Pistons? There's Grant with a pull-up jump shot.
Only his 3rd field goal of the second half.
He's only taken about 4 or 5 shots. He had 11, he took 11 shots in the first, or 10 shots in the first half. He has 15, so 5 shots in the second half.
He has 19 points in the ball game. That's his season average. Inside, Shaquille mugged by a lot of white jerseys, and you called it, Doug. He's going to get the ball down low, but it's going to be Detroit's ball anyway.
Well, they call him stepping on the...
Step on the out-of-bounds line, I guess.
So not only did he step out, but he also got punished for doing it.
He is taking a beating tonight.
See if Shaq is out of bounds right there. If he'd have wore that size 20 and a half shoe last year instead of 22, he'd still been in bounds.
It burned him. 5:10 left to be played. The Pistons lead it by 7. Hill 1-on-1 with Royal, 5 to shoot. The 3 doesn't find the net for Joe D. Here comes Shaw. That 3 finds nothing but iron.
Good block out that time by the Detroit Pistons. The ball came right down between Oliver Miller and Mark West. Did a nice job putting their bodies on people.
The Orlando Magic, whose number is 3, to clinch at least a tie for the Eastern Conference, fighting for their lives tonight.
A patented screen roll of the Pistons.
3 to shoot, blocking foul, and Detroit gets a break. Donald Royal commits the infraction, his 3rd.
Ooh, Donald Royal came up to rotate, and he did not allow Oliver Miller a chance to change direction. Donald Royal took the brunt of that to get that foul.
Boy, 300 plus running into it. Hill and Royal. Dumars guarded by Shaw. Here comes Grant to show the double. 5 to shoot. Hill with the finger roll, rejected by Shaquille O'Neal. Counter his goaltending. 21 points for Grant Hill. Shaq can't believe it. His Orlando Magic have scored only 2 points in the last 3 minutes and 50 seconds.
You see the importance of Grant Hill in being able to create shots against the clock. The great players in this game can do that, either get a shot for yourself or for your teammate. Grant that man got in the lane.
Morris needs to make that shot, and he doesn't. The closest Orlando has been in this quarter is 89-86. They trail it now by 9 inside of 3:45.
I think the Magic are in trouble, Ron. Looks like they're running on empty right now with their gas tank, and they got no place to go for offense other than Shaquille O'Neal.
And they play at Philadelphia tomorrow. Hill left wide open for the 20. Like we talked about, Brian Hill said he's really frustrated at times because his team waits for that switch to be flipped and just turn it on, but they're having problems finding it tonight.
I told you to stay out of the kitchen!
Isn't it strange that people spend 5 days a week trapped inside an office, only to spend their weekends trapped inside a fence? Presenting the 1995 175 horsepower rodeo. It can take you where you won't feel boxed in. Isuzu, practically amazing. See your local Isuzu dealer to check out the rodeo lease.
You can search the whole universe, and you'll never find a better deal on a new 95 Ford car trucker van than right here. Quality Ford of Mount Vernon. Westchester and the Bronx #1 Ford dealer. We have the biggest selection, competitive prices, on-the-spot delivery, no money down financing, and one of the largest used car departments in the area. Quality Ford of Mount Vernon, 211 East Sanford Boulevard, Mount Vernon, on the Bronx County line, and simply out of this world.
An editorial from Mr. Larry Holmes.
I'm going to beat Oliver McCall, beat champion again. Foreman did it, I can too. I'm faster than George, smarter than George, I'm just better than George.
A second opinion.
Mr. Holmes forgets. George didn't fight me.
McCall versus Holmes for the heavyweight title, plus 3 more championship fights. Saturday, April 8th, live on pay-per-view.
We have 3 minutes and 25 seconds left to be played. The Detroit Pistons trying to pull off the upset. They lead it now 97-88. The NBA on TNT continues Tuesday night, 9 o'clock Eastern time. Remember the time. The Phoenix Suns take on Seattle. Bob and Doug will be there to call that game. That'll be Tuesday night. And then on Thursday night at our sister station, TBS, the NBA action will continue at 8 o'clock Eastern time. Vern Lundquist and Chuck Daly will call the Golden State Warriors and the Utah Jazz. That's Tuesday at 9 on TNT, Thursday at 8 on TBS as we push toward the playoffs. You know, Doug, interesting trend that is happening for Orlando the last week and a half. Shaquille O'Neal only 1 rebound and 2 shot attempts here in the fourth quarter. That is what he had against Sacramento just over a week ago, and he had only 2 shot attempts against Utah going in about the last 2 or 3 minutes of the ball game. People are just collapsing on him.
Well, that's where Anthony Hardaway and Nick Anderson are really missed. They need those 2 guys. Again, we saw what Grant Hill could do, creating out of double teams and working against the clock, and that's what Hardaway can do also.
Royal just flat out missed the shot. And Grant Hill wisely slows it down as people begin to leave the Palace at Auburn Hills. This one's far from over, though. Houston swings around as he's checked back into the lineup. West with the pick. And the roll. And the slap by Donald Royal. That was just basketball 101, Doug. Well, pick, roll, go to the hoop.
Orlando's just a step slow tonight defensively, and again, without their starting players out there, they've gone deep into their bench. Brian Shaw has been injured. He's played some heavy minutes tonight. And Horace Grant has had a subpar ball game, so this has just not been a night for the Orlando Magic, and you have to give the Pistons a lot of credit. They're playing with a lot of heart tonight.
Mark West only 47%. Scorers, Ernie Johnson will have an update when we conclude our game. Mark West, is Charles Barkley once called him, the most professional player he's ever played with.
I will tell you what, they would love to have Mark West in Phoenix right now. They really miss him.
Well, Detroit hit 10 of their first 12 free throws. Now they've only hit 10 of their last 8, and they're 0 for 5 here in the fourth quarter. That could come back to haunt them. Scott goes to the hole, can't complete, and Orlando has missed a couple of layups. Scott can't come up with a save. Pistons the ball in the lead with 2:35 left.
You know, Ron, I got to take this time here before we get off the air just to, you know, wish our thoughts and prayers with you and your family. I know you just had the loss of your mother and what a painful time that is for you. This is the first game you've probably done that she's never heard you, so I just want to let you know I know it's real painful time for you and your family.
Thanks, man. Everybody around the league and Orlando Magic sending flowers. My dad and sister and I really appreciate it.
Rattles the shot clock. Grant Hill has gotten his triple-double, Doug.
He told me he was going to do it with me being here tonight, so he kept his promise.
The first triple-double for the Detroit Pistons since February 1st, 1987, when Isaiah Thomas did it against the Bulls. Shaw for three, and he buries it. Brian Shaw's second triple tonight. But what a night for Grant Hill. 21 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists. A triple-double, but his team leads by just 8 with under 2 minutes left.
In the preseason, my back hurts. My arms hurt. My legs hurt. My brain hurts. Even my teeth hurt. But come the regular season, it's all worthwhile. Because I get to hurt right back.
Is there such a thing as a lease that's fun? Well, if it's a lease on a 1995 two-wheel drive Isuzu Rodeo, there is. Because at just $267 a month, it makes enjoying the big-time fun of a rodeo really easy. And if you don't believe us, just look how much fun our lawyers had with it. Geez, guys, not that much fun. Oof. Come on.
Offer not valid on Mars or other non-terrestrial sites.
Sheesh. Isuzu, practically amazing.
It's not just how you play the game. It's how you call for the ball.
Come on, baby, I got him. Give me the rock, baby. We got him. For the road. Yeah. Ah! Looking at him, baby. Come on, hit me on. Hit me on. Ah! Yeah. Ew. Woo!
If you're talking my game,
You don't know, you better ask somebody.
you're talking Foot Locker.
99-91 is our score, an 8-point advantage by the Pistons.
That's what happens. You double-team the ball, and you get the ball outside, and you drive into the lane, pull the shot blocker. Beautiful pass again by Grant Hill to Oliver Miller. And the Pistons now lead by 8, but there's still a lot of time. I know you say 158. There's not going to be 4 or 5 possessions that the Magic are going to have before this game is over, so it's going to be important for the Pistons to continue to execute.
Detroit with 1 full timeout. The Magic with 1 plus a 20. Neither team has a foul they can afford to give. Before that Brian Shaw 3, Detroit had outscored Orlando 8-2 and really taken control since Grant Hill came back into the lineup, so you can see what that young man means to this ball club.
Little isolation for Dumars.
Swings it across. Scott tipped it. Did Houston get a piece of it? No, says Ron Garrettson. 6 to shoot. Detroit with the ball.
See if they throw inside and go right back to Grant Hill and let him create.
Hill with 3 to shoot. 2. Forces it up with 1. Didn't hit the rim. It'll be a 24-second violation. Orlando with the ball, trailing by just 8. 1:33 left to play.
It was excellent defense by the Magic, Ron, and that's what I'm talking about, execution. The Pistons cannot fall asleep right now. They've done a wonderful job getting themselves the lead, and they got to finish this game off. There's still a lot of time.
Grant hustling across the timeline, as does Brian Shaw. Magic without Anderson and Hardaway. Grant left open from 20. Goes about 19 and a half.
He's pulling the string on it tonight. Horace just does not have the good release. Looks like he's trying to guide it in. 4 for 14, and Horace normally a 56% field goal shooter, but I've never seen him shoot this many jump shots.
He's been forced to.
Absolutely. He's been the guy that shoots the ball out of the double teams. Well, Grant got away with a little bit of a carry there.
Slightly. But you like that Samsonite pack. Dumars with 1 on the shot clock. West, great position, misses the bunny shot. Then it's taken away by Oliver Miller. What a break by the Pistons.
They got a foul. Can't let him just dribble out the clock. I don't care if he is a good free throw shooter. You got a foul.
Finally they do, and you had a choice of Shaw or Grant. Shaw gets whistled for his 5th. And the Detroit Pistons are just 45.8 away from winning their 27th game, and Brian Hill will see his team fall to 18-18 on the road. Very disappointing night for Brian Hill, but not for that man. Dumars a quiet night tonight after the 41-point effort Wednesday night against this team. 10 points for Dumars. Brooks Thompson in.
Both these teams will charter right out after the game. The Pistons will go to New York and play the Knicks, and Orlando will go to Philadelphia. You know, Philadelphia's been playing a little bit better basketball.
Sean Bradley especially.
Sean Bradley's been playing very good basketball, and I'm happy for the young man. He's taking a lot of grief.
Dennis Scott for three, and he buries it.
How can you fall asleep on Dennis Scott? Can you tell me? You got to be chest to chest on him and not give him an inch. And guys start celebrating like the game is over, and it's not over.
Far from that, as Brian Shaw fouls out. He'll foul out with 15 points in the ball game. 2 off his season high, and Donald Royal has to come in. Shaquille O'Neal already on the bench. Doug mentioned might have something to do with Philly tomorrow night. 31 points he left with. Interesting strategy by Brian, sitting him down when there's still time left. Down by 7.
Well, they might try to push the ball up the floor and have some better three-point shooters on the floor. Maybe look for a quick three. The only thing they could use really Shaquille for might be a screener or as an offensive rebounder.
You want to find out who's Rookie of the Year? Well, you have a chance to vote on it in our little poll of our own. 1-800-406-HOOP. Who do you think it is? We'll have results on Inside the NBA with Tim Brando in just a couple of minutes.
Well, Grant Hill staked the claim tonight with a triple-double. Jason Kidd has been playing great. Glenn Robinson has been playing terrific in Milwaukee. You've got about 3 other rookies. Brian Grant has had a very good year in Sacramento, although his team is slipping a little bit right now. Juwan Howard in Washington has played very, very well. And also Eddie Jones. He got injured out in Los Angeles, but he's played terrific basketball. So I think those are the 6 impact rookies right now if you would think about probably if we're talking about your all-rookie team.
Well, Miguel Knight, number 32, who hasn't played the last 4 games for the Pistons, checks in to give Bob Chaney a little speed. Dumars misses. Rebound, Scott. Dumars, 6 of 8 from the line tonight. The lead is 8. Inside of 30.
Morris is going to shoot for 3.
He'll be short. Royal tipped it, or Bowie tipped it. Nobody can come up with it. This one will be pretty much in the books. Joe Dumars trying to run it out as Donald Royal commits his 5th personal foul. Now the Detroit Pistons have 9 games remaining after tonight. 3 home, 6 away, but Brian Hill has a schedule in which he should win, and he was probably counting on one this evening. But if you're looking at Detroit, they're still in the playoff picture. It's very slim, but they have to play Chicago twice, Charlotte, Cleveland, and New York, so you'd have to say they've got their hands full.
You know, Ron, I did a game the other night, Golden State, Phoenix. Golden State had been spanked at home by 20 to Minnesota and by about 30 to Atlanta. They were without Sprewell, without Hardaway, with about 3 of their starters. Phoenix goes in, gets down by 22, and loses a very, very important game that could have them ahead of Seattle right now. So every one of these games right now, you have to remember some of these teams are playing out the string, and other teams are playing for higher stakes. And you've got to play every night.
The Pistons about to beat their first plus 500 team since February 1st. Thompson barely hits the backboard. He'll try it again. Doesn't get it. His shooting percentage is heading into the cellar. And that is it. What a big win for Don Chaney and the Detroit Pistons in front of a sellout crowd of over 21,000. They win it by 10, 104-94, as they led almost the entire way. And one of the main reasons is what they did on Shaquille O'Neal, and one of the guys responsible for that is Eric Leckner, and he's standing by with Warren Moon. Warren?
Eric, great job tonight. You had, in 14 minutes, 10 points, 4 rebounds. Great job tonight. How you feel?
Feel great. It's an opportunity for this team to come through and show how good they can be.
Now, was it a strategy of yours to try and harass the big man underneath Shaquille and try and just frustrate him? Because it seems like you did that tonight.
Well, he's the best player in the league, you know, so you got to do whatever you can do to try and slow him down. He had 31 tonight, but if you can keep him at his average, you're doing a good job.
Well, this was a big game for you guys tonight. It keeps you in the playoff hunt. It keeps the momentum going. How do you feel about that?
I feel good about the team because the team needed confidence. This will get us going and roll the rest of the year and prepare for next year.
Well, good luck the rest of the way, okay?
Thank you, Warren. Once again, our final score, 104-94, and our Budweiser player of the game. And Boy, he really is one of the stars of the future of the NBA. Grant Hill, first career triple-double, first one since Isaiah Thomas did it back in 1987. 21, 11, 10, the numbers on Grant Hill, our Budweiser player of the game. Now, one of the men that was definitely up for it was Allen Houston. Allen, 25 points, 9 of 17, throwing 3 rebounds, 4 assists. Since the All-Star break, you and I talked before the game, it's kind of like, hey, I can really play in this league, and you've really proven it since then.
Well, I think it was people have looked at the situation and said it's come along very quickly, but it was a long process for me. I wasn't playing early in the season, but I just stayed consistent with my effort and my mental attitude, and it really changed for me after the All-Star break.
You know, Allen, I thought was a real maturing thing for you to do tonight was you missed your first 4 shots, but you never went away from your game. You know, a lot of times with young players, they'll miss a few shots and they stopped shooting. Tonight, you stayed with it. You ended up 9 for 17. Is that something that you've grown to be able to do now that you've been in the NBA for a while?
Well, I think that all happened this year. Just like I mentioned earlier, it was a process that took a little while. But, you know, early in the season, I probably would have stopped shooting, like you said. But, you know, I stuck with it. You know, I recognized better shots for myself, and I took the ball in a little bit closer and got to the free throw line some. And that's the things that I learned to do to be more consistent this year.
You know, you have to be a little excited also, too. What are you, 23 years old, and Grant Hill is 22 probably. You guys can be the real cornerstones of a rebuilding here in Detroit and be a part of something to see it change back the other way.
Well, I think it's a lot of fun for you know, me and Grant to really play with each other. I think we complement each other, and I think, you know, you're right. We could have something special here. You know, we just you know, keep working. We're the type of players that have never be complacent with ourselves, and hopefully we can establish that.
Now, I'm going to let you know that I illustrated a play where you fell asleep underneath on the inbounds play and you let Brian Shaw score, so your dad will probably have seen that tonight, and he'll let you know about it when you talk to him later.
If he doesn't call me, I'll call him, and I'll hear about it.
All right.
All right. Allen Houston, 25 points tonight as the Detroit Pistons beat the Orlando Magic by 10. Once again, our Budweiser player of the game, Grant Hill. He will be live on Inside the NBA in just a couple of minutes. Now let's head back to our studios in Atlanta with Ernie Johnson. EJ?
All right, thank you, Ron Thulin. Friday night in the NBA, and things have tightened up in the Central Division. The Indiana Pacers, now their lead is just 1 game on the loss side over the Charlotte Hornets for the top spot in the Central because Indiana went to Atlanta tonight, and the Hawks thumped them by a bunch, and this is the main reason. Steve Smith had 26 points, 21 of those in the third quarter, when he was lighting it up from the promised land. 5 3-pointers in the third quarter alone, 5 out of 7 on the night for Smith, 26 points. And the Atlanta Hawks on their way to a 102-90 win over Indiana. Steve Smith, the hero. And folks, there was a Gumby sighting. Oh my goodness! Or did Ken Norman win the Masters and got the pants to go with the green coat? 102-90. The Hawks winners over the Pacers. That lead for Indiana, as I said, shrinks to 1 game on the loss side over the Hornets, who had a tough time with the Bullets tonight at US Air. Chris Webber had a huge night. Another triple-double. His second in about the last 2 weeks. 23 points, 11 rebounds, 10 assists. But Charlotte wins this thing. Alonzo Mourning gets Big George up, scores 25. And Charlotte wins it 98-93. So now, Pacers within reach of Charlotte. They have a showdown with the Pacers.